Hello guys, so welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking a lot about the IPSec side-to-side VPN, and today is going to be a little long one, but hopefully we are going to see how to cover all of that on time. So today we're going to be talking specifically about VPN and specifically about the IPSec side-to-side VPN. So following the design that we currently have here today, I'm just going to clear this. So following the design that we currently have here today, we currently have a different site. Like we have a DMZ side here, we have the HQ side here and the high availability mode as we are going to set up. We currently have a different vendor here, which is going to be a Palo Alto partner, and we have the firewall branch here is equally checkpoint firewall. So we're going to see how to establish a VPN connection between all these different sites that we have here. We establish a VPN connection from the HQ to the partner, which is Palo Alto, and equally from the HQ here to our DMZ, and from the HQ here to our branch firewall that we currently have here. And also within the setup that we have here, since it's a lab environment, we are equally going to be doing a simulation as to how to establish a VPN connection from the firewall here to establish a remote VPN connection from our firewall to a sample client that's over the internet. So these are the different types of VPN connections that we are going to try to establish today. So it's going to be a little long one, but hopefully we are going to follow along and try to get it. So currently right now, based on the current setup that we have here, we just have the installation of these our devices. So the installation, the first time, just the normal installation of the operating systems are done, and there's no setups that are already done. So we are going to do it all together. So I'm just going to clear all of this here so we see how to make it happen. So during the installation, an IP address was given here, and the default gateway was normally set to be this interface of this firewall. And also during the installation process of this particular firewall DMZ here, the default gateway was placed to be this interface of the router. And for this cluster, since they're all going to be managed by the security management server here, during the installations, just their IP addresses were placed. So after we are done, or during the first time configuration wizard, we'll configure these interfaces, and after that, we'll set up the other interfaces and set up the routes. And when we do all of that, we'll be fine. So same like here, during the installation of this firewall, just this interface here was configured, and we did not give it a default gateway because they had different networks. And also here, during the installation process, its IP address was set and its own gateway was pointed to this interface here. So that's the current setup we have since the installations were done. So talking about VPN connections, as we all know, if you're still contemplating as to what the VPN is, the VPN actually means the virtual private network, and we're just going to see how to encrypt all forms of traffic. It's depending on how you set it up. That's going to be leaving from our HQ here to our respective, be it this our partner here or this our other branch that we have here. So we are just going to go straight right to it and try to see how to make it happen. So we'll go ahead into our router here, and we need to make networking first of all happen smoothly. And based on the designs that we have, the network plan is already set, so you can try to follow along to see how to make it happen. So we are going to go into our router, and once we are in the router, we'll just set up this our interfaces here, as you can see. And from here, from this router, we just need to tell this router if it receives packet destined for networks like this network behind this firewall here, and this other network that's behind this Palo Alto here. If it receives packet for those, and equally these networks behind here like this, which is not directly connected to, and these networks behind here, which is not connected to, we'll tell it to forward it to the respective gateways that can reach those networks. So for instance, here, if it receives packet destined for this network, you should forward it here. And also, if it receives packet destined for this network here, you should forward it here. Since this is Palo Alto, this is going to be our management network. We don't necessarily need internet access coming here, so we'll keep that aside. And also, if the destination is this network here, you should forward it to this gateway here. And same thing here, if the destination is this network, the router should forward it here. So we are just going to go ahead and be setting up the lab as we progress, and we'll discuss how to make it happen as we progress. So I'm just going to clear up the joins, and then we are going to move straight right into it then. So we'll just go ahead and power on some of the devices that need to be powered on. We'll just power them on, like some of our switches. We are going to power on our laptops as we progress in this our virtual environment here. So now, to make things really happen, we'll just go to our router and set it up. And also one thing to note while we are going to be working here is, if you take a close look here, we have these two firewall here, firewall HQ1 and firewall HQ2. They'll be all managed by this SMS here. And we have SMS2, which is going to be within this DMZ area, and it's going to also be managed by, it's going to be a secondary security management server to this SMS1 here. And this particular firewall DMZ is going to be managed by this SMS1 as well. So it's good for us to take note of that. And also this firewall branch here will be managed by this SMS, and we are going to use this PC here. For the setup here, we are going to use this particular PC here as well to make it all happen. I'll power on this. So as we progress, we are just going to be setting them up as we get along together. So having that being said, hopefully it's understood. We are just going to move now straight to our router. I'll double click on the router that we have and I'll expand it. We'll just go in there and set it up. Also, we'll set up internet access. This is going to be the last thing to do if necessary, and we'll make that happen as well. So let's just wait for our router to boot up. And once our router is booting up, we are going to go into our tech support PC here, which is the PC at this our admin level. We'll just try to see how to do the first time configuration wizard for all these our devices. And since this particular firewall DMZ is going to be managed by this SMS1 and equally this SMS2 here, the key thing you need to notice, the key thing we need to understand is that traffic flow, that means the networking from our cluster here to our router to the firewalls here, it has to all be set up. If not, we will not be able to bring this particular firewall into our security management server one via smart console as well. So as we progress, we'll see how we are going to do it. So the first thing that we're going to do, we'll get into our tech support PC here, and we'll open our browser. And once we open our browser, we'll try to see how to complete the configuration of these our firewalls and bring it up. So while this is happening, we'll equally be setting this other side up independently, since they are not really dependent on each other. So we'll go to our tech support PC. Tech support PC has just come up. We'll wait for it to boot up. So while waiting, we can look at our router or double click on it. And hopefully it's done. So our router is done here. So once our router is done, we'll just enter the interface and then configure the respective interface and set up the respective routes as we explained earlier on. So I'll just start from there. And while we are there, I'm just going to go to conf T, and we'll enter the first interface GI 0/0/1. This is this interface, and the IP is 172.168.1.3. We'll take the IP add and we'll put our subname marks. We hit enter there. I will take no shutdown. So enter the next interface in GI 0/2. And based on our plan that we have, our IP address is 192.168.2.1. Then we need to use IP add. Put our subname marks and take no shutdown. We'll enter the next interface GI 0/ this was 3. take NGI0/TV, and based on the setup we have here is 192.168.1.2. With our subnet max, we enter no shutdown. The next thing we want to do is we need to get to the next interface here, which is 0/4, 192.168.10.1. The 10.1, put our subnet max, and we hit enter and take no shutdown. Okay, so once we do that, we are going to have that all set, and that's just it for the interfaces. So I'll just hit exit here, and we are going to take the do. Let me move this. We are going to take the do IP interface brief to check our interfaces if everything is okay. So currently everything is set for GI0/0. That's where internet access is coming through. We are going to set that up shortly, not now. So once we have that done, the next thing we want to try to follow up is we'll try to set up our routes. And since this router just knows this current 4 networks, we are going to say the destination is the 10.2.2.0 network. We'll just put IP route. The destination is 10.2.2.2.0 with the subnet max of 255.255.255.0. We need to forward it to this particular interface here, which is 192.168.2.2. 192.168.2.2. And the next route, IP route, will be the same thing. If the destination is network that is not connected to, if the destination is this network here, you should forward it here. So if the destination is 172.168.2.0, 172.168.2.0, with the sub, I think it should be 16, not 168. Yes. The 2.0 with the subnet max 255.255.255.0. We should forward it to 192.168.10.2. And the next route is IP route. If the destination is this network behind here, which is not directly connected to, that is 10.20.20.1. The 0, put a subnet and put our subnet max. Forward it to 192.168.1.1. And we'll do the final route here, IP route. If the destination is this network here, this network behind here, that's the 10.10.0 network. With the subnet max of, we should forward it to the VIP IP here, not the independent IP. Since both these two firewalls should be in the high availability state, we'll forward it to 172.168.1.100. So send it there like that. And that should be it for our routes. And we'll save what we have done, do write memory. So we can just check all through by, you can use show IP route, you can take the do show IP route to just confirm the routes we have here. So we have our static routes that are all being set there, as we can see, and we have just saved the configuration. So with that being said, we'll just head along now to move to our tech support, where we finish the installation process of this and set up the VIPs after everything is done at the level of the smart console. So we'll just go to our tech support here, and it's up. I'll just right click here, and I'm going to go to network and internet settings here. I need to set its IP address. So while we are here, we'll just put it will give you this IP address from our design here. It should be 10.10.10.11, and the gateway should point to the VIP because we are going to set up a share here. So we will put that here. That's 10.10.10.11, and equally we'll put this subnet max, which is going to be equally /24, and also put the gateway as we just mentioned, 10.10.10.100 here for the internal VPN. So that's what we do. And here for DNS, we don't necessarily need DNS now. We just hit OK here, and I'm going to hit OK, and we should be good to go as well. So now, once we are done with that, we'll just need to open our browser and then try to finish the first time configuration wizard, and we are going to be good to go as well. So I'm going to come here, I'll close this, or just put in our IP address. I'll equally close this as well. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to open our browser that we have at the bottom here. So give me some time to open up, and once it's ready. So since it's now ready, what we have to do is we'll just first of all try to access this our SMS here. I'm going to access it. The IP address is 10.10.10.3. So just go to our browser, and as usual, HTTPS with a colon // and our IP address 10.10.10.3. Just copy this so that we're going to use it subsequently as well. Copy, Control C, and I'll hit enter here. I'll hit the plus arrow key, and I'm going to just Control V. But here we're going to put in the IP address now of our HQ1, that's 10.10.10.1. Hit enter there. I'll just hit the plus arrow key again, and I'm going to do Control V, and also I'm going to put in the IP address of HQ2, that's .2. I'll just move this and put 2, and hit enter there. So once we do that, I'll just go back to the first one, the IP address 10.3. This is our SMS. I'll go to advanced as usual. We'll proceed. I'm going to proceed with that particular installation there. So once you click on proceed, it should load that first time configuration wizard. I'll just go through the 3 of them and do it at once here. I'll hit proceed as well. Here as well, I'm going to hit proceed. So just hold on for it to come up, and then once it's up, we're just going to put in our username here, admin, and admin123, or whatever password that you used. So once it's up, I'll just go to the next sector here, wait for it to come up, and we'll log into it as well. So we're going to log in here as admin, and admin123. So hit next, and we're just going to move to the next, that's HQ2, and wait for the login page to come up. Here we'll do the same thing, admin and admin123. So we'll take next here. So once we do that, I'm just going to come back here to this our SMS and wait for the first time configuration wizard to come up so we can follow the procedures as usual. So once it comes up as usual, we'll just click on next, and we'll take next as well. We'll keep the defaults. Remember, this is our SMS here. This is our security management server. We'll just go ahead with next. And here we will not configure this interface. And once we are here, we'll just give it a name as SMS1. And then we'll go to next. We'll take on next. And we'll just take next as well. And once you're here, make sure you uncheck security gateway and you allow it as a primary, since that's going to be the SMS. You click next as well, and you take next, and you take finish. You take yes for the process to go through here. So once that is going through, we are equally just going to move to, let's see what we have here. Is any of them ready or not yet? So let's hold on for either of our security gateways that would be in HA to be ready for the first time configuration wizard, and we proceed with it as well. All right, so now HQ2 has come up. So just proceed as well. You go to next, you go next here. You see that currently we have just this particular interface here. Currently, based on our lab here, we just have this interface that we set up. This interface is not yet set, and we are also going to set up this interface. So right now, we'll set the default route. The default gateway will make it to point to this interface. You cannot do this. You cannot set the default gateway to point to a different network when the management interface is pointing to a different network. So that's why it was not done during the installation process. So here, I'll just put the default gateway, which is going to point to this router here, which is going to be 172.16.1.3. So do that and we'll take next. And also I'm going to set up the next interface here. I'll just put ET0, that's the next interface. We'll set it to manually, and based on our lab here, the IP address for that interface should be 172.16.1.2. So put it there, 172.16.1.2. And the subnet marks should maintain. And we are good to go. We hit on next. We'll give it a name as HG1, HG2. We proceed. We click on next. You can change the time as such your environment. We'll click on next here. And here we're going to uncheck security gateway and make sure you check the box that says unit is part of a cluster type. So it's going to be cluster XL. So you click next, and then we're going to put our activation key for the SIG. I'm just putting admin 123, but in a production environment, you can put something more complex. So click on finish and you take yes. So we'll just wait for these installations to be done as well. So our security gateway one is back. We'll just set it up as well. You click on next here, and the default gateway is equally going to point to the router 172.16.1.3, and also you click on next here, and we're just going to set up this interface. It is 0 here, which is 172.16.1.1. We'll put it there. You click on configure, you take manual, put our IP, put our subnet marks, and you take next. Put a name, give it SG1, and we'll take on next. Next. Click next again. Make sure you uncheck SMS here, and make sure you check unit is part of cluster type. You click on next. We put our activation key. So here we take next, and you take finish. You take yes. So just wait for all of our installations to be done, and once it's all ready, then we are going to be good to go. So while waiting, remember that currently we are trying to do the first time installation wizard of this, and this. We cannot be able to bring in this particular firewall DMZ now because the cluster is not set up. Once the cluster is set up, then traffic, that first time configuration wizard of the Gaia portal, we can then be able to access it from here to bring it up. So we'll just hold on, and once our cluster setup is ready, we'll make that happen. Same like traffic from here. If the DMZ is not running and the default policy is set to allow, then we'll not be able to access this as well. So we need to hold on. So that since this sector here is independent, we can come from admin PC here. We'll try to do the installation, the first time configuration wizard for SMS branch and SMS firewall. So we'll just double click into our admin branch, and Once it opens up, we'll equally have to set its IP address, which is 10.20.20.10, and the gateway is going to be 10.20.20.1. So we'll wait for it to come up, and once it's ready, then we are going to set it up then. So can always come here as usual. I'm going to go to set the IP address. So once we are here, we'll just input the IP address, which is 10.20.20.10. Just input it there, and equally put the subnet marks. And also I'm going to put the gateway. So with that, we hit on OK, and everything should just be okay and fine. So once we do that, I'm going to close this. Just accept. I'm going to close this interface here. And I'm going to close this as well. So once it's closed, we're just going to open our browser and try to access the security management server and also our gateway. So I'll just click on our browser or any browser of your choice. So once it's open here, we'll just go ahead to put in the IP address of our security management server branch. Just come here and I'll just put the https://. So the IP address is .2. I'll just copy this as well so that we'll use it again. I'll hit enter and I'm going to hit the plus arrow key here. I'll paste it here and we'll put the IP address of the security gateway here. So once that is ready, the same process as well. I'll just come to advanced, I'll go to proceed. Here as well, I'll come here and we'll go to advanced and we are going to move to proceed. So once we are here, I'll just put in the password, admin, and our username. Hit enter there. Also while we are here, I'm equally just going to put in our username and our password, and we are going to log in. So this is the security management server branch, and this is the security management server HQ. We are currently under the admin branch PC here. If we go to the tech support, okay, from our tech support here, it shows our management server is already done. We hit on OK here, the installation. If we go to this other, our security gateway 1, this is our security gateway 1 here. I think it's still installing. We'll give it some time. What about our security gateway 2? It's equally still installing. We'll just give them some time to be completely done. So once that is ready, we'll be good to go. So while that's still loading, we're going to go back to our admin branch. This is our admin branch here, and follow up through the first time configuration wizard of these two devices here. So the configuration wizard for the security management server is coming up, and it should be available here anytime soon. So just wait for it, and let's just see what's happening to our gateways. All of them are still loading. Okay, so go to admin branch here, and we wait for the configuration wizard to come up. So coming back to our tech support, which is this tech support PC here, we can clearly see that the security gateway is done with the configuration wizard. So hit OK here. So it's going to reboot and everything will just be fine. We'll come to this, our other security gateway here is still loading, and that's just fine. So coming back to our admin branch, this is our admin branch here. That's loaded. We'll just take, remember this is the security management server branch. We'll click on next. We'll take next. And here the default gateway, we don't need the default gateway here. 10.2, we do need a default gateway. It has to point to 10.10.10.1. So put the IP there. which is going to be 10.10.10.1. 10.20 needs to be 10.20.20.1. So take next. Here we'll not configure that. We can give it a name, SMS branch, and then we hit on next, and then we take next. So hit next as well. Make sure you uncheck security gateway, and you're just going to be the primary for the branch. Hit next, you hit next, and you take next and finish. You can play around with the configs as you need be. Also coming here as well, this is for the firewall branch here. It has loaded firewall branch. We'll just take next as well. We'll take next. So the gateway here, since it's the IP, the gateway here is going to point to this particular router. So that's the default route here, which is 192.168.1.2, which is 192.168.1.2. We'll take next. And also here, we're just going to set the interface here manually. We'll put our IP address here, and the IP address is going to be 192.168.1.1. 192.168.1.1. And our subnet max is going to be 255.0. So we hit on next, and we can give it a name. We'll just say firewall branch. Give it a name like that, and you click next. So following the time here, you can maintain the time or change as your environment needs. You click next, or just click next here, and here we'll just check the security gateway, but we are not going to check where it says unit is part of the cluster, since it's just going to be firewall or security gateway only. So take next, we'll put a C key. We hit next here, and we take finish, and we take yes. So the installation should just go through fine. So coming back to our tech support at the level of the branch, you see the rebooting is already starting here, and everything is just going to be fine from these perspectives here. So before going to the smart console, first of all, we are done from this perspective here. We have just set up the first time configuration wizard, but the cluster is not yet done. And also these our two sync interfaces are not yet set up. So once this is done, I'll just come back. This is the SMS here. SMS is already up. This is SMS1, the Gaia portal. We are going to go to our security gateway here and see if it is ready. Our login, this security gateway 1, the level of the HQ. So hit admin and admin 123. We will log into it from here. And also we'll just hold on. Once the reboot from this side is ready, we'll log into it and equally set the IP address as well. So while we are here, remember this is our HQ1, and from this HQ1 here, this ETH2 interface has to be set, which is 1.1.1/24. You can change the CIDR to match your environment and the likes of that. And for the VIP IPs, we are going to set the VIP IPs just at the level of the smart console when we are setting up HA. So with that being said, let's give it some time to boot up, and everything is going to be set. So this is our security gateway, and as SG1 is up here, so you can go to network interfaces. So when you come to network interfaces here, you can see currently that we are going to see our current interfaces that are configured. For security gateway 1, we have configured this interface, but ET2 is not yet configured. So we expect to see that here. So this is it. We're just going to come here and I'll double click on it. And I'm just going to enable the interface first. Once I enable it, the next thing is going to be to put the IP address, which is 1.1.1.1. And we are going to put the subnet max. It's a point-to-point link. You can even just put slash 30. It's going to still be fine, but it's okay like that as well, just for the lab environment. And Also, we can check our route here. If you go to your IPv4 static route, you can clearly see that here the default route is pointing to the router, and that's fine. So following that up, we'll just wait for our next security gateway here to boot up, and we are going to be fine to set up the IP address. So we'll just log in. It's okay. It just came. We'll log into it admin and admin123, and I'm just going to hit login. So hopefully logs into it successfully. So similarly, we are now also into security gateway 2, and we'll just go to the network interfaces, and we are going to input the ETH2 IP address. We'll double click on it, and here we'll check the enable box. And once we are here IPv4, we just need to put in the IP that corresponds as in the design, and then probably put in the same subnet marks for that particular network. So once we do that, I'm going to hit OK, and we'll check our routes if the static default route is pointing. So yes, so the static route is there. So everything seems to be fine so far at this level. So at this point, we're now going to go to the smart console, where we make these two security gateways function as one. And also after that, we'll come here, and we are equally going to get into the smart console and make this security management server manage this particular firewall branch here. So we'll just go minimize this page that we have. Everything is done there. Once we minimize that, I'm going to open the smart console. So currently we're working with ROS 1.20. Make sure that the version of the Gaia operating system equally matches the version of the smart console that you're trying to work with. So currently in this environment, since we're working with ROS 1.20 Gaia OS, make sure you use ROS 1.20 smart console as well. So we'll just open it up, and once it opens, we will then move to it. While it's coming, we'll come to our admin PC here. I think all of the installations are done. On our admin branch, the installation here is done, but the installation here is pending. So just wait for the installation there to be equally complete, and also I'll minimize this here as well. I'm going to minimize that, and also we're going to open the smart console here. Coming back to our tech support, okay, our smart console is booting up. Here as well, I'm just going to go to our admin branch. We'll just double click on that. So once it comes up at the level of our tech support PC here, we're currently in here. This is our tech support PC. We'll just put our username, admin, and we are equally going to put in our password. And when you are using the smart console, you can only be able to log into the security management server here. So which is going to be 10.10.10.3 based on our lab. And we'll log in there. So once our smart console open at the level of our HQ here, we'll just proceed and close this welcome message here. And once we are here, we'll just move along. So the first thing that we want to do is we'll have this SMS. We'll just bring in our HQ setup here. So to do that, we just click on the plus side on this star icon. We go to cluster, and then you go to cluster. You click on cluster here. So once you do that, we're going to be prompted with the option of the different modes. We'll just go with the classic mode. So you click on classic and wait for that classic template to open so you can set it up. Also, while waiting, we can get to our admin branch here. We'll just wait for it to come up here as well. And once we are here, the installation at the level of our SMS is done. Our firewall is equally done as well. And everything seems to be ready on it as well. So we'll minimize this here. And then we're just going to go ahead to our smart console that we have. We are equally going to log into the SMS branch. So just put in the name, admin, put in the password, and put in the IP address of our admin branch, that is 10.20.20.2. and we'll hit enter there. So just wait for that to come up, and when it's ready, we'll be good. So coming back to our tech support here, to just set up the cluster, we can give the name as cluster X. We'll give it the cluster IP. The cluster IP is independent, which is 10.10.10.200 as per the design. We'll put that there. And also we need to be able to check, make sure the IPSec site-to-site VPN is checked, and can equally enable monitoring as well. We'll see how to use monitoring, hopefully, if the video does not get too long. And since we just want to focus on the IPSec VPN, we'll just maintain it the way it is here. And also going out to the cluster members here, we can check on cluster members. We'll wait for it to come up, hopefully. So once you come up, we are going to add our two security gateways. So click on add, we click on new cluster member. Once it comes up, we'll give the name SG1. Then we'll put the IP address of security gateway 1, our internal IP, which is 10.10.10.1. And also we're going to just hit communicate here. So here we'll put in the SIG password which we set, confirm it again, and we hit initialize. So we'll wait for that to be done. So that is trusted. So click close and we'll take OK here. We're just going to go ahead to add the next member. We'll click on add again, add cluster member. Now we're going to give it the name as SG2, and also put the IP address of our SG2, which is 10.10.10.2. So we put that. You can change the colors if you wish to. So anything of your choice. You can now hit communicate. You put your one-time password and confirm. So once you do that, you can then hit initialize. And take close since it's good. So here we hit OK. The next thing we want to go is, by default, cluster XL is already the one that is set. We want to click on cluster XL and VRRP. We'll click there. So once you click there, by default, high availability is already set. You can play around with it depending on your environment. The next thing we want to do is go to network management, where we are going to be setting up the VIPs here. So once this comes up, you want to get interfaces, click on get interfaces, and you can take get interfaces with topology. And it's just going to pull through the interfaces that are available on all the security gateways there. So just give it some few seconds and it's going to be all available here. So when it comes up, we are going to see it has already put all the interfaces here. And you see this is SG1 and its interfaces and SG2. So now Between edge 1 and edge 2, facing the one facing interface here we want to put this VIP, and we are equally going to put this VIP between this network here, and also here we'll put in this between this network is going to be sync network for synchronization and heartbeat messages. So for our external network, I'll just double click on the external and we'll put the VIP IP, which is 192.168.1.100. We'll just wait for it to come up. So here you need to hit private, where it says private, you click on it and you put cluster, and then you put in your VIP IP here, which is 172.16.1.100. So once you do that, you can put in your subnet mask, which is 24, and you hit OK as you're good to go. The next thing is for the next network, this internal network here, between these two gateways, the virtual IP will be 10.10.10.100. So once we are here as well, we'll just do the same thing. We'll choose our cluster network, and once we hit on cluster, put our VIP IP. Equally put our subnet mask, and yes, between these two security gateways internally, this will be the virtual IP there. So from there we can hit OK. So while the HA setup at the cluster here is coming up, we're just going to proceed with our branch here. So we'll just bring in this firewall. So it's being managed by this SMS here, and the IP is 10.20.20.1. So we'll come here with the star icon, and we're just going to take the gateway. And once the template comes up, we'll just go the classic mode. And once the classic mode comes up, the template as well, we'll just see how to make it happen there. So once it's up, we're just going to give it a name, and we'll just say firewall branch. Firewall branch, and we'll give it an IP address of 10.20.20.1. And from here, we'll just make sure IPSec VPN is on. And also we can check monitoring as well. And once that is okay, we can then hit communicate. So it's going to establish that connection with the security management server. So putting our password admin. So then hit initialize. So take OK. So once that is trusted, we are just going to take OK for now and wait for our tech support template to come up. So it has picked up the two interfaces. So I'll just hit close here, and here I'll hit OK. So once you do that, the next thing we want to just do at the level of admin branch is we'll just publish the changes. And at this particular point, I'll just hit publish. And also one thing to note is the default policy is set to drop all traffic. So for now, we'll just permit all traffic and later on structure everything temporarily. So we'll come to our security policies here. And once we are within our security policies, the default policy there is just set to drop all traffic. So the default policy is set to drop all traffic. That's the default action. I'll just hit accept. And here we'll just track for logs. And from here, I'm just going to install the default policy under our branch firewall here. We are going to structure this up shortly once we start setting things up properly. So right now, we're just making networking to go through smoothly. So I'm just going to install that. And Since it's the standard policy package, we'll just maintain that for now. Once it's ready, from there, I'll just get the details. So once it's ready, then from there, we'll move to set up also a template at the level of the HQ. So since our second cluster is up, since actually the template is up here, we'll do the same thing between these two networks here. We're just going to input the right network. We'll go to cluster as well. And when it opens up, we'll just put in the cluster IP, the VIP IP .100. We'll put our subnet max here, that's 24, and then we hit on OK. So here in between this network here, this is a sync network. We'll just double click there to edit as well. And once it comes, we hit the drop down where it says private and we click on sync. So when you click sync, we then take OK. So since it's the sync network. So having that put together, those are the basic parameters we're going to need for our cluster here. We need to have that set up, and following the blades that are currently checked, we just have my IPSec blade, our cluster Excel, and the monitoring blade for now. So I'm just going to hit OK, and we are going to be good to go. So once I take OK, we'll come back here to set up VPNs and the likes of that, but for now everything is fine. So hit on OK there, and I'm equally just going to click the OK key here. So once we have that, I'll just hit this drop down arrow here. So these are our two cluster members. We'll just publish the changes that we have made so far. It should be saved. We'll click on publish, and we'll just give it a moment for it to publish the changes that are there. And currently also at the level of the tech support PC here, the default security policy is set to drop all traffic. So once it's published, the next thing we're just going to we'll go to our security policies here. And when it opens up, it's going to load and we'll see the default policy set to drop. We'll just permit traffic temporarily. And once everything is structured, then we are going to be good to go. So for us to be able to do the first time configuration of our firewall DMZ, then we need to make sure the cluster is actually up and the default policy is set. So here I'll just take accept. We'll accept the default traffic policy. The default action will be to accept, and here we choose logs as well. So when we do that, then from here now, I'm going to then install this policy, the standard policy package. We are going to segment them later on. So I'm going to take install for now. Since we just want networking to be accessible, then we are going to see how to structure our policies. Then I'm just going to hit on install. And once the policy is installed, I'll just pin this here. Shift this so you can see the details. So once this is installed, then everything is going to be fine. At the level of the branch PC, our policies here should be installed as well as we left it. So everything is installed. I'll close this, and I'm going to close this as well. So at least we'll just keep the branch side of things for now, and equally we'll set up the HQ, and once we are done with all of this, then we'll proceed to the VPN configurations. So we'll go to our tech support PC. We'll just hold on for our policy installations to be done. So now our security policies are done. So I'm going to close this, and equally I'm also going to close this here. So once that is done here, the next thing that I want to do is, since traffic is all through, we can now go to our browser again, and we hit on our browser. From here, we'll open a new tab, and here we are going to be able to set up the first time configuration wizard for this our firewall DMZ here. So it's 192.168.2.2. We'll go down and hit the IP HTTPS. Let me just go to our browser. So hit it here, and it's https:// we'll put in the IP address of that which is going to be 192.168.2. Let's check again, .2. So hit enter there. If everything goes well, we should be able to access it from here. So that's fine. So now you can be able to access that. It simply means the routing is working nicely. We equally do the first time configuration wizard, and once that is ready, I'll just log in here, in my TV as well, and we'll take login. So following what we have, we'll just proceed as usual. I'll click on next, we'll click next here, and this is the current setup here. We'll click on next. Then now we are going to set up this interface here, which is 10.2.2.1. We'll just go ahead and do that. So I'll just hit on manual. We put in the IP address here, 10.2.2.1, and we are going to put the subnet mask of 255.0, and we hit next here. Here we'll just give it the I'll just give the name DMZ. So click on next here, and also we're just going to take next. Make sure you check you uncheck security management. We click next and we take next. We put the SIG key. After doing that, we hit next, finish, and wait for the installations to be done as well. So once the installation of the first time configuration wizard of our DMZ firewall is done, we are equally going to bring it here to be managed by this SMS here. So you come here where it says gateway. Since it's a single security gateway, you click on gateway. We're going to go with our classic mode, and we'll just wait for it to open up. So once it comes up, we'll just give it a name as just give it like DMZ, and also put the IP address there, which is 192.168.2.2. And here we'll just enable the necessary blades like the IPSec VPN. We need to make sure that is checked as well. We can enable monitoring too. And when that is done, then we can just take OK. But first of all, take communicate here. We'll put in the one-time password. We'll just confirm that and we'll take initialize. So since that is done, we can then hit OK and just wait for some few loads to be done. So these are our two interfaces there. We'll just hit here close, and I'll just confirm with OK. So once we do that, next thing we want to do is just to publish the changes that we have made, so everything becomes safe, and also we'll make sure the default policy here is set to permit traffic at the level of that DMZ firewall. So I'll just publish these changes, and once the publish is done, I'm also going to install the default policy on that particular security gateway, so it should also accept traffic. You click on install, and once you click on install, the next thing you want to do is you just want to choose the DMZ gateway if possible. You can maintain the tool, just take install, and I'll just pin this, and we can all see the details here of it going through. So just hold on for the installation process to be done. Once it's done, then we would be able to see everything. So currently the policy installation is done, and everything seems fine. So we'll just go ahead now to our browser and we'll do the same process again, where we are now going to try to bring in our SMS tool, which is 10.2.2.2. So just go, since the default policy here now is set to accept all traffic, so definitely traffic from here will pass through and the response is going to be accepted as well. So I'm just going to take https:// and we're just going to put in the IP, which is 10.2.2.2, and hit enter there. Yeah, so everything is fine. So you hit that, and you're just going to hit proceed. So once it comes up as usual, we'll just put in our username. So remember here, we're still to do the first time configuration wizard, so we'll just wait for it to come up. So once it comes, as usual, we hit on next. We'll take next again. This is our SMS2. Everything is set here already. So we don't need to configure this interface. We'll just hit on next. And here we'll just give it a name as SMS2. And we hit on next. Take next as well. Here you take next. Here make sure you uncheck security gateway, and where it says primary, hit the drop down arrow and you take secondary. So you take next, we'll put our C key. So hit next and then we take finish. So yes, we want to continue with that. I'll just hold on for all our installations to be done and we'll be back to it. So why that is happening, because right now currently the cluster is set up already, DMZ is set up, and we just want to bring in SMS now. So while that is coming up, we'll come and head over to Palo Alto to set Palo Alto up. And for basic information about Palo Alto and the way it functions here, we have a dedicated MGMT interface here that is going to be used to configure it up, and also it's going to be configured from this PC here. And while we are currently doing explanations, I'll power it up so it can be booting as well. So the next thing that we need to notice, Palo Alto is zone based. So you have this is the outside zone, and this is going to be our inside zone here. So by default with Palo Alto, we have things that are known as the interzone based traffic and intra-zone. So by default, interzone based traffic is disabled, and intra-zone, that's within the same zone, traffic is already permitted by default. So that's what we need to know. So we'll just set up Palo Alto as well for basic networking, accessibility. So network end-to-end communication should be possible before we set up the VPN. So I'm just going to clear this as well, and we are going to head over straight to Palo Alto, and we'll configure this management interface. Once we configure this management interface, we'll access it from this our WinPC here via the browser. So most of our setups will be via the browser. But to set this management interface, we'll double click into Palo Alto here to enter the CLI. And once we're here, we'll normally log in as admin. And I'll put the password. So once Palo Alto come up, we just need to hit on configure. I hit enter here, and then we're just going to go to the set device config. We'll put set device config mode, go system type, make it static, and we're going to set now device config system IP address. I'll just hit tab here, and we're going to put the IP address, which is going to be based on our design. It's 10.3.3.1. And now we're going to put a net mask, which is going to be 24. And we'll hit enter there. I think I need to put it in full, 255.0. I think I placed the wrong side here, 255. And we hit enter there. And when we are done, we can then take a commit to save the current changes. We'll have two jobs, so we'll just hold on for these changes. So you take commit to save the changes. So I've just made the type to be static because by default it's set to DHCP. And then we have just placed in our IP address with the subnet mask, no default gateway. So once that is ready, I'm just going to come to this our Windows PC, and equally we are going to set an IP address on the device so that it matches that same network there, so we can access it through the browser. So once this comes up, we'll just go to our control panel here, go to open network and internet settings, wait for it to come up. So once it comes up, we'll go to change adapter options here. So we'll just put in our IP, which is 10.3.3.2, and we'll put our subnet max /24. Don't need a gateway, we'll just allow the default as it is. So once that is set, we're just going to open then our browser here. I'll open any browser of choice. I'll close this, and we're also going to close this as well. So wait for our browser to come up, and once our browser is up, then we'll see how to make it work. So before coming to set up Palo Alto completely, I'll just expand this. I'll go back to our tech support here because we just got done with the installation process here. These are SMS2. The first time configuration wizard is set, but we need to bring it to the SMS, to the smart console, to be managed by the primary security management server. So we'll just go to our tech support here and we'll go to smart console. So once smart console opens, I'll try to expand it more. And once it opens like this, I'll just check the box here that says the star. We'll check that, and I'm just going to go to more since it's a checkpoint host. I'll click on checkpoint host since it's the SMS2. So click on that to just bring everything here. So we have all the checkpoint related security gateways and security management servers being managed from one point. So wait for that to come up. So while it's loading, okay, it just came just now. So once it comes here, we'll just give it a name as SMS2. Also put the IP address, which is 10.2.2.2. Here, we'll just make here before you do anything, make sure you come to management here and you check network security and management. So it's going to become the secondary as well. So it's going to be the secondary, and then from here you can hit now communicate. So once you hit communicate, we'll be prompted to put the one-time password as usual. So just wait for it to come up, and we'll put our one-time password admin, and you are going to initialize. So once the trust is done, we just need to hit on OK. And that should be it for basic network connectivities and SMS high availability. I'll just click on OK here. And once that is done, we are going to hit publish. And once we take publish, then the synchronization from the primary to the secondary will start taking place. And remember that currently so far the default policy is to permit all traffic. Equally at the DMZ is equally set to permit all traffic. So that's why it's possible for that particular access to happen. So I'm just going to hit on OK here. Okay, SMS contains invalid data and cannot be created. Okay, I'm going to take OK here. I'm going to bring in, let's see. So once we click on publish, then the changes should actually synchronize. Here we'll just hit publish, and then we're going to hit publish here. And also I'll just shift this to the top so that we see how the synchronization is going to be happening. at the bottom. I'll pin this here, and you see pairing with the SMD is starting. So I'll just keep this here so that we get done, and once it's ready, then from there we can see all the changes being made. So with that, we're just going to head over to our Palo Alto PC here. We'll just continue with Palo Alto since we are done with basic network access. We'll continue with to Palo Alto here, and the IP address has been set already. I'll just confirm that here. And once we are here, I'll open the CLI. Let me close this. So just open the CLI here, and I'm just going to go with IP config. Yes, our IP address is there. So with our management interface that has been configured, we just need to get to our browser here. You can always come back here and we'll just hit HTTPS. Just type in HTTPS and put a colon / / or put the management IP address that we just configured on Palo Alto, which should be 10.3.3.1.1, and we hit enter there. So just wait for it to load. If everything is fine, then we should have access. So currently we have the access to Palo Alto interface. So click advanced and we're going to hit proceed. So once you hit on proceed, you just hold on. It's going to come up with the Palo Alto dashboard interface. So once it comes up, it's going to look this way. We'll put in our password, our username admin, and we'll put in our password as usual, and we'll just log into it. So once it logs in, then we'll have the different options to set things up. So once it's done, we're going to be welcomed with this panorama. So with this panorama welcome message. So I'm just going to click OK. We'll close that and we'll just take remind me later here. So currently, based on how Palo Alto looks like, this is our dashboard. We have the accounting tab, we have monitor, policies, objects, network, and devices. So now the key things that we're going to do here first, and we need to first of all, based on our design, we'll have to configure these two interfaces here, our inside zone and our outside zone. And the default policy will just make it to accept port traffic for now. And then after that, we'll set the right things up. So we'll go through it step by step. So if you come here towards where it says network, we'll click on network here. Panel undefined, not registered. Let's see, I'll click here. Panel for undefined, not registered. Let's go to network. Let me come to network again. Do we still see the same message? I'll just do a refresh. I guess I chose the wrong panel. So once it refreshes, the moment we are here, you will normally see our interfaces, everything, the state is down. So to start things up, what we are going to do is that we'll start by creating our zone. So we'll move to zones here. And at the bottom of the screen, we'll take the add key. So once you take add, will be prompted, it's going to come up where we normally give the zone name. I'll just say, I'll give the zone name as outside. And here the type is not going to be tab, it's going to be of layer 3. And we'll just take OK. We'll just create the two zones first. The next thing is we hit add again, and then we are going to create the next zone. I'll just put here inside. And the type is going to be tab. It's going to be layer 3 rather. And then we take on OK. So we have our two zones here. The next thing is we want to come back down here and create a management profile so we can use it for troubleshooting. So currently these interfaces on Palo Alto are not pingable. So we need to try to create a management profile for that. And also if you want to use these interfaces for management access, then you can also, while creating the profile as we'll do now, we'll see how to make sure that they can be accessible. So here we'll just give it, I'll just give MGMT, I'll just give it the name, MGMT access. And here you can give all different permissions as you want to. but for now we'll just put ping there for basic troubleshooting purposes. So once we do that, we have created our two different zones, and the next thing we want to do is we'll just go to interfaces. So currently we'll start by configuring our outside interface and then our internal. So for our external interface is going to be 1/2, Ethernet 1/2, or we'll just start with 1/1, which is our internal environment, and the IP there is 172.168.2.1. So you can click on it. Once you click on it, it's going to come up, and here you need to change the type from tab to layer 3. Once you do that, then now you need to choose a virtual router. We're going to also edit the virtual router here. We'll take the default. For the zone type, this is going to be our inside zone. We move to IPv4, and once you're here, you click on add. So we're going to input the IP address on that interface, 172.168.2.1/24. That's going to be the gateway that's going to be there. Now, once we have that set, the next thing is we want to go to here. I'll just hit on OK. You need to come to advanced. That's our IP address. I'll confirm it again. .2.1. So once it's good, we'll go to advanced, and then we'll just input the where it says management profile here. You hit the drop down arrow and choose this MGMT access for that interface, and we'll be done for that. So go ahead and do the same thing for the next interface here. So it's currently down. When we commit before you come up. So go ahead and do the same thing for this other interface here. And here I'll just set it to be of layer 3. The default here should be for the default router. We'll edit that. And then also here, it's going to be outside zone. We'll come to IPv4 and hit on add. We'll add our IP address, which is 192.168.1.10.2. I believe. Let's check through. Yes, .10.2/24. And I'll just click here. So once you place our IP, you can go to advanced and make this interface pingable. You can come to management profile, hit the drop down arrow, and then you take MGMT access. So once you do that, you hit on OK. So we have our two interfaces configured, and also we'll just create one interface here for tunneling because we are going to need it when we want to establish a tunnel. So you just come here to tunnel and hit the plus icon here. You can give it a .1. Just put 1 as a figure there. We don't need an IP address. We'll make it to be part of the default route. We'll put the default route here, and equally for the zone, we'll just give any zone with the outside zone, and it does not really matter. Or you can create a new zone dedicated to it, but the interface must belong to a zone. And for IPv4, it does not need an IPv4 IP address for now. So you don't OK there and just keep everything cool the way it is. Before taking a commit, we'll just go to our policies here. And once we're under policies, I'll just do a refresh here and see. So once you do a refresh and you come back up to it, now here by default, as I mentioned earlier on, we have two main types of policies here. We have intrazone and interzone, and interzone is currently set to deny. So I'll click on it, and I'm going to override it temporarily for now. So once you come here, you go to actions, and here I'll just hit the drop down arrow, and I'll just take allow, and I'll log session end. I don't want to take log session as start. It's going to be piling up a lot of data there. So take OK. So once we do that, the next thing is we want to commit our changes. I'll just commit this, and we'll save the current changes. So let's hold on for it to be committed. So tech support, everything from the HQ side, everything is fine. From our branch side as well, everything there is equally fine as well at the level of the smart console. Everything there looks okay. So I'm going to go back to our Palo Alto PC here, and we'll just wait for this policy to be installed. And once that is done, I'll power on this PC here. We'll just try to make sure that end-to-end communication is all set before we can go along to setting up our VPN connection. So I'll just input the IP addresses of our Windows server here. It'll just be like a test PC as well. And these are VPN PC. So here is going to be 172.16.2.2 and this gateway here. I'll just click here, and then from here it's still loading up. These are VPC9 here. I'll double click and input this IP. It's a virtual PC. I'll put this IP and this gateway will be the VIP. So here I'll just put the IP 10.10.10.4 and put /24, then we'll put a gateway 10.10.10.100. So when we have that being done, then from there we'll see how to make it work. I'll just save what we have done here, and also get to our test PC here. I think it should be ready by now. We'll put in the password, and once we put in our password, I'll equally double click into our Windows server here. So it's still loading. And equally from this side, we have VPC11. The IP address should be 10.20.20.11.20. So put the IP and put 10.20. Put the subname marks and we'll put the gateway. We hit enter there and we save those changes. So once we save that, we are going to move to VPC9. IP has been saved as well. Windows server is still coming up. Test PC is on, and our test PC here has 172.16.2.2. We just come here, right click, and we are going to Network and Sharing Center. 172.16.2.2. Okay, we're going to change adapter settings and just right click. We'll go to our properties, IPv4. And we are going to put in our IP address here, which is 172.16.2.2. Subnet marks should maintain /24, and also the gateway here should be 16.2.1, and here we hit OK. Take OK, and it should be just fine. So go to our Windows server, it should be up. We'll put in our password. We hit on enter there, and while it's opening up, let's go and look at our Palo Alto if yes. So the configuration was committed successfully, so I'll close this. So these are the basic setups we need from all angles to make sure that there is end-to-end traffic flow. And let's come back to our network devices here. And if you come to where it says Ethernet interfaces, we should see all of them up by now. Yes, both of them are green, and that is fine. Yeah. All right, so now having that been done, we just want to test for connectivity from all directions to make sure that before we start the VPN setup, we are sure that the networking through our environment is smooth. And if we get any further problems, then we can be sure that it's at the level of our VPN setup. So moving ahead, we'll just go along straight into, yes, our Windows server is up. I'll come to local servers here, and we'll change the current IP address so it matches this network. It should be 10.2.2.10. I'll just click on this IP address here. We'll go to properties and we'll put in here should be, we'll just remove this, 10.2.2.10, and the gateway should be 10.2.2.1. We don't need the gateway here. We don't need DNS. We hit on OK. So once that is done, then from here, I'll just hit accept here. So once that is done, also at the level of our firewall on our Windows server, it is fun of preventing ICMP. That's for the ping-based traffic when it receives it externally. So it's always going to try to drop that. So we'll try to see how to permit ICMP at the level of our firewall. So here we'll just search for firewall. And we are going to go to advanced firewall, Windows Defender with advanced security. Once it opens up, we'll just try to permit ICMP to pass through the firewall. You can shut down the firewall, but it's not good practice. So we'll come to inbound rule here, and then we'll create a new rule. You'll come here where it says new rule. You click there, new rule. And once the interface comes up, wait for that. We're going to go to custom. We'll take next. We'll take all programs. We'll click on next. Here, protocol type instead of any. We are going to go to specific ICMP v4. You take that and you take next. And here any IP address, we'll keep the default. And here we'll just allow the connection. We'll maintain the domain types available there. And we'll just give it a rule like ICMP access. Just give it that name and we hit finish. So by so doing, we're permitting ICMP to be able to access, to be accessible to be permitted on this particular firewall. So I'll just close this and we are going to be good for now. So I'll head over to our test PC here. I'll close this and I'll close this as well. And I'm just going to open the smart console. So I'll try to ping from here. These are test PC. I'll ping to this Windows server, which is 10.2.2.10. We'll do a ping there. Ping 10.2.2.10. So if we don't get a response, then we know there's a problem and we just have to check that through. So that's unreachable. I'll just do IP config here. So the IP address is 172.16.2.2, 172.16.2.1. Let's start by pinging its gateway. So we'll do the ping and we hit 172.16.2.1. Is that reachable? Yes, we can reach that destination. What about this interface of the router 192.168.10.1? So for ping 192.168.10.1, can you reach the router? The router is unreachable. Okay, fine. So the next thing we have to try to do is we need to ping this external interface here of this our firewall 192.168.10.2. should be the 10.2. We hit that. Is it reachable? Oh, it's reachable. Okay, I think I know where the problem is. I think we forgot to edit the default routes here on the Palo Alto side here. So we set up all our interfaces already. We're using the default virtual route here, but we need virtual routes. We need to tell this Palo Alto that, okay, your default route, you need to forward it to this interface. That's why we can always try to reach the different interfaces here, but we'll never be able to go out of our network. So you need to come here and you click on default route. We'll have the 3 interfaces there already, and that's fine. So wait for it to come up. Here you keep the default, you see your tunnel and everything is there. We'll edit the tunnel route when we are setting up the tunnel so it becomes clear for VPN. We'll come to static route here and we don't have any route at the moment. So you click on add, and here we're just going to go with name. I'll just give it, let's say, default. And we're just going to save the destination is 0. That's any 0.0.0.0. I'll just put /0. Your interface that you're supposed to use is, I'll click here. We'll go with the external interface, that's 1/2. And the IP address on that interface, you can hit the drop down arrow here. I'll click here. You can hit the drop down arrow here and you put the next hop gateway address. That should be 192.168.10.1. You put it there. And once we are done with that, everything is going to be fine. So hit OK. We are going to come back here again later to create the tunnel route. So we are going to do it when we are at that point so it becomes clear. So hit on OK here and remember to commit so that it takes effect. So I'll just commit those changes. So just wait for the commit to take place, and once it's done, we'll try happening again. So once our commit is done, as it's actually done now, we'll hit here close, and I'm just going to go to our test PC here, which is this particular test PC. And once we are there, I'll just try the thing which was failing. We're trying to hit the server. Yes, this is 10.2.2.10. Yes, so now traffic can be able to reach the server here. So what about the PC behind the HQ firewall here? So 10.10.10.4, we try to ping that as well. .4, and that's reachable. And what about 10.20.20.20? Let me hit that as well. So end-to-end communication is actually now feasible. So now we're just going to go ahead and start up our VPN setups. So now before we proceed with that, since we have a single SMS here, which is managing this particular cluster setup here, and is equally managing this DMZ firewall, the way you set up the VPN for them is a little bit different. And when you have a firewall that's managed by another security management server here, the way you set up the VPN connection between these two parties is different from the way you set up between these two parties. So when the security management server is managing firewalls that are going to establish a VPN connection between them, the way it's done is different, and the way it's done with another vendor other than the checkpoint firewall itself, then the procedures are different. So with that being said, let us go straight to it and see how to make. So we're just going to head ahead back to HQ here, which is going to be our tech support PC. We'll come back to our tech support PC here and head over to the smart console. So now to make this happen, we're just going to go ahead. So we're going to go ahead to our security policies here. And once we are at the level of our security policies, there are several things that we are going to do while we are here. We'll come over to security policies here. And once it comes up, then we'll be able to log in. Let me see. So once we are here, we'll just head over to our security policies and we'll wait for it to open up. So once our security policy opens up, we'll have the default policy here. So to make things easy here, we'll create two policy packages. So the first one here is going to be for policies that will be installed at the level of our HQ here. And the next policy package will be installed at the Firewall DMZ. So I'm just going to use this icon here on global properties here, and we'll go to manage policies. So once we are here, I'll just click on this star icon. We'll create a new policy package, and we'll just give it a name like, I'll just say DMZ dash package. So we'll give it a name like that, and also from here, we'll just keep the default the way it is. We'll give the installation target here, very important. Need to make sure you specify here. You go to specific gateways, and here you hit the plus icon, and you hit your DMZ cluster there, and we'll take OK. So that's going to be it for that, for the creation of that particular policy package. So when that is gone and everything is fine, the next thing that we're going to have to do is we'll just rename the standard one, because the standard one here is what is currently, I'll double click here. I'll give it a name as HQ. Let's see. All right, so currently right now we have our two different policy packages. That's the DMZ package, which will be installed at the level of the DMZ firewall, and the cluster package here. So since both cluster and DMZ firewall are managed by the same SMS here, what's going to happen is we're going to create, before startup, the process of the VPN goes thus. We need to go to the VPN community here, and we can use any VPN community type we want. So currently by default we have the mesh and remote. So I'm just going to go ahead with the mesh, and I'll just go with the mesh. You can use the star, you have no problem with that. So I'll click on the mesh community here. So once I click on the mesh, I'll just give it the name like S2S, S2S, that's side to side VPN. So it's a community. So you need to put in the gateways that will participate in here. So for the first one, since we'll just click the plus sign here, it's going to be between the firewall cluster and also the DMZ firewall that we have here. So put in that, and also with what we have here, this is the cluster Excel. And what's the domain? What's the VPN domain? That means we're trying to say here that we'll try to establish a VPN between this internal network here at the level of the cluster and this network here. But at the level of the policies, we'll make it more fine-tuned, where we'll permit just this PC and this PC. So we'll come here, and then we're just going to double click here. So the network behind the cluster, you can just double click on that, and then once it opens, you go to specify, and then you can select item. Once you come here, you can then create a new, either you just create a new network or you create a network group. And it's always good to create a network group so that you'll be creating subsequent, if there's any other network you need to include, you can just include in the group. So we'll just go with the network group. I'll wait for it to come up. So once you come up, we'll just say, since this HQ, I'll just say, I'll give it the name like HQ group. HQ group, and within this group, we're going to then include the different subnets here. So here, I'll just click on new again, and I'm just going to take network here. We'll just create a network group here, and I'll just say HQ-net. So put that, and the network behind the HQ is the 10.10.10.0, and we'll put our subnet mask, which is going to be 255.255.255.0. So once we are done with that, we can then hit on OK. and this is the HQ net here within the HQ group, and we can then hit OK. So once we do that, we can equally take OK here as well. So at the level of the DMZ, we need to do the same. So I'll just double click that as well to make the changes. You go to user define, you hit the drop down arrow, and you can create new here, and we are going to go to group, and we'll take network group. So once we do that, we'll just wait for it to come up, and here we'll just see, I'll just give it the name DMZ dash group, and here we hit the plus sign here to include the network. Since it's not currently created, we hit the plus sign, and then we're just going to click network. Once it opens, we'll just give it a name like DMZ dash net. So put the network at the level of the DMZ, which is 10.2.2.0, and also the subnet marks. And when that is done, we'll hit on OK. So we hit OK here. So that's the DMZ group, and we hit OK. So at the level of our gateways, this is just what we have. DMZ, it contains that, and equally the cluster has its own domain set. So now at the level of encrypted traffic, you click on encrypted traffic, you can allow the default. A level of encryption here, since we'll keep the default, we'll use IKE gateway, IKE version 1. And for the security parameters, we'll just use AES 256 for encryption. For integrity, we'll just use SHA 256 as well. At the level of phase 2, here we are going to use the AES. This is going to be, let's see, do we have 256 here? We'll use 256. And for integrity check, yes, we'll use AES 256. And for integrity check here, we'll use SHA 256 as well. So that's what we are going to use on both sides here. So for use perfect for secrecy, we're not going to use that. We'll come to tunnel management here. We'll keep the defaults. Everything is okay. 1 VPN tunnel per subnet pair. And for excluded services, if you want to exclude some other services, you can exclude them here. For the shared secret, since both security gateways, that means the DMZ and the cluster are managed by the same security management server, we don't need any shared secret. So that's one thing to note. So here we'll just proceed to the next. The wired mode, we'll keep it default, and then under advanced, we'll keep the default. Take note of the timing here. So with that, we're just going to hit on OK. So once we do that, it's like the VPN community template is ready. The next thing to do is we need to now make sure we implement at the level of the policy. So you need to now click on policy here. And when I'm here, I'll just right click here, and then I'll just create a new section above this. I'll give it a name as the cleanup rule. We'll give it a name as a cleanup rule, and that is just going to be there. After doing that, I'll right click here as well, and I'm going to create a new section above. I'll double click on it, and I'll call it VPN. So we'll just create our VPN rules here. So after doing that, I'll right click and then I'm going to create a new rule below that. So I'll hit the drop down arrow here. Once I do that, I'm just going to give it a name, HQ2 DMZ VPN. And once we're here, we're simply saying the source here now. The source, we want the source to come from only this VPC9 host. So we need to create a source IP here. I'll hit the plus icon here. And then since we don't yet have the object here, you can just hit this star icon and then hit this star icon and then you take host. Since you want to use a single IP address, you want to create an object for that. So once it comes up, I'll give it the name like VPC9 and we'll put in the IP address. On our topology, it should be 10.10.10.4. And you don't need to put any subnet marks. So I'll hit OK. So if the source is from here, and if the destination is also from going to, or just going to say this Win server here, I'll just call it DMZ PC. We'll create a new object for that as well. We'll create a host. And I'll call it DMZ PC. Can give it an IP address as it is here, that's 10.2.2.10. And we hit OK. So if the source is from here going to here, then we are going to permit that. And also, what if the traffic is generated from the HQ side, from the DMZ side? That means it's always going to fail because the source is not going to be included here. So that's the reason why also within this source we'll include DMZ PC if DMZ PC wants to be the originator of the traffic as well. And also here as well, we are going to include the VPC9 as well. So that in case either subnets that are trying to generate traffic, the firewall is going to be able to acknowledge them. And for VPN here, we're not going to use any. You right click here and you go to your VPN site to site. You go to specific VPN communities, and under specific VPN communities, you can then be able to click your S2S VPN that you just created. For services, you might want to play around and restrict services, but here we'll just choose any. And for the action, we are going to take accept. And for logs, we track the logs to see that encryption is actually happening. So once we do that, then this is the policy package that will be installed at the level of the cluster. We can be able to copy this. I'll just right click here. Just use control on this. So we'll just copy this. I'll copy this. In fact, I'll copy this TV. I'll copy this. And I'm just going to copy the rule. And once we copy that, I'll come to this other policy package here, this DMZ policy package. I'll right click on this policy here and I'll paste it above. So they're all going to appear here. All right, so once they appear here, I'll just rename it. And the renaming is going to be, instead of HQ to DMZ, I'm going to call it DMZ to HQ VPN. So we'll give it a name like this and the policy type maintains. The reason why we're just able to copy and paste is because since this security management server is managing both security gateways, that's DMZ and equally the HQ, it becomes easy. We just need to install from here the respective policies to the different environments and it takes effect. So having this, we're just going to install this first set. I'll publish the changes first. So we'll click on publish. and then we hit publish there. Once the publish is done, then we're just going to take install, and I'm going to install this on the DMZ. So you can see it's going to be installed on the DMZ here. We'll install this there, and I'll hit confirm here since we're trying to change the standard one that was there before. We'll hit confirm, and we'll take install, and we'll wait for the installation process to be done. So at the bottom, we'll just wait for it to be done. While that is going through as well, we can come to our cluster package here, and once we are here as well, we can do the same. We can install this policy package on the cluster. So I'll hit install, and we'll wait for it to come up. And I'm just going to hit here install. It's going to be installed on the cluster here. So two of them are installing, so they're just going to go up, and once they are all ready, then we'll come back here for the setup. So while it's coming up, we'll just go ahead and be able to inspect to see how our routing is supposed to be done. Let's say in the case where traffic is supposed to leave from the HQ here and move maybe to this test VPC here, traffic is going to always leave from here. From here, the gateway is going to be pointing to the VIP IP, since the VIP IP is part of the cluster. And at the cluster, on all the security gateways, they need to have their default route pointed to this IP here, which all of them have. They have a default route pointing here and here. So once it gets here now, the router then needs to have routes to say if the destination is this network here, then it should forward it to this interface of Palo Alto. And once it does that, Palo Alto then be able to get to the device. Now, for the response from the response perspective, if this PC is to once this PC is to respond, of course, the gateway is pointed to this interface here, so it sends it here. And once it gets here, Palo Alto needs to also have a gateway which we set already to point to this router interface. And from this router interface, once the traffic gets to this router, there must be a route to tell this particular router if the destination is this network, then it should forward it to this VIP IP. And we did that already. And once it gets to this VIP, since this is already part of the cluster is directly connected to this network, so you know how to forward it back here. So that's how the request and response traffic flow has to go. So make sure your routes are set properly, and the same pattern flows for these other two networks here. So it's good to just clarify that so that everything goes smoothly on your own part. So the next thing that we're going to see is our policies are installed. So right now we'll just try to do a ping. I know the default rule is set to accept here, but it's fine. We'll try to do a ping and try to see what's happening. So from this our PC, we'll initiate a ping from here to our Windows server here. So I'll go to VPC9, I'll double click on it. And once it opens, I'll take the show IP. Our IP is still set. So I'm going to ping, that's 10.2.2.10. Let's see. So currently traffic is going through, and that's good. Now the question lies, is it going through the VPN tunnel or it's going through the cleanup rule? So I'll do a continuous ping here, and to show us that it's going through the tunnel at the level of the firewall DMZ here, we'll go to the CLI and we'll check if both faces of the IKE are up. So I'll log in with admin, we'll put in our password. So once we are logged in here, we'll use the command VPN TU. Let me clear this, and then we use VPN TU. VPN TU. We hit enter here, and we're going to say IKE. We take one, all phases, and you see that's the phase one of it, all there. So this is the partner, which is the cluster XL. You hit enter to continue, and then I'm going to take 2 for phase 2 of the parameters. So hit 2, and you see it's all clear here, that is established here. And to confirm it, you can always go to your tech support here. If I click here on this particular role, and I'll just drag this to the top, and if I go to logs, I'll unpin this here so we see clearly. So if we come to logs here, we're going to see, hopefully we should be able to see the logs of the encrypted traffic and the likes of that. So let's just wait through to see if we can load the logs from here. Problems are for code driven search, click here. I'm just going to click here in the last hour. Let's see if we can get some of those logs. Not yet. Okay. I'm equally going to hit the cleanup rule here to see. Okay, so the following problem is okay. It's fine. So I see this was the log server. We've currently shut down the log server, but it's okay. But just from the CLI here, we can already see that the tunnel is up. And once traffic starts going through, I'll just do controls here. I'll stop the ping. If to confirm further that to just confirm further, you can be able to just stop this cleanup rule, and then you control the ping to ensure that it's going through this folder. We are going to do that at the end, so we save time. And one other thing we're going to do here is, as at now, the VPN establishment from here to DMZ is already all good. So the next thing is we want to establish a VPN connection from the HQ to this firewall branch. So to do that, we'll just go again straight to our, at the level of our policies that we have here. I'll just take this down, and once we once we do that, we'll just have to come again. We'll have to first of all bring in this externally managed security gateway at the level of our smart console here. So you need to come here to new, and you can always come to more. And when you come to more, you need to come to network objects, I believe, and then you go to gateways and servers, and then you need to come to more, and then you need to come to externally managed VPN gateway. So you click on that to bring in that particular gateway object, so it can be here like this. So I'm going to bring it in, and from here we're going to make it happen. So let's just hold on for it to come up. Who is there? So once it comes up, then we are going to input the name. That will just say firewall branch, or bringing in the object to the firewall here. We'll just say firewall branch here, and we'll just put in the IP address of this firewall. I'll put the external IP address 192.168.1.1. That's what we'll put. Put 192.168.1.1. So we'll put that, and also make sure you check the firewall blade here. Make sure you check that blade, and make sure you check IPSec VPN as well. So that's all you need to do. There's no communication needed here, and we'll just take OK. So once you hit on OK, we just need to publish the changes that we have made. and we are going to be set to go. Take yes. So once we do that, definitely we should have the publish section comes up. Once it comes up, we just need to hit publish and we'll publish that. So once we have brought that in here, now the next thing is we need to go now to our VPN communities again. And the next thing we need to go, we can edit the same S2S VPN mesh. You can create a new one, a VPN community, but we'll just maintain the same one here. And once it opens up, we'll just come here now. Remember, we have the cluster that has established the VPN with the DMZ. We'll add in the new gateway now. We'll add a plus sign here, and we can now put in this our firewall branch, which we just brought in here. So once we do that, we'll do the same process, IP addresses. So we try to place an IP address or a subnet mask that's behind this particular firewall branch here. So this is the branch, and here this is a network that's behind it. We'll choose a network, but at the level of the policy, we'll use a specific PC IP. So once you're here, you can hit the drop down arrow, and then you take new. Here I'm just going to say network group. So take the group, and I'll click on group. So I'll just call it the branch group when it comes up. So wait for it to come up. We'll call it branch group. So once that is done, you hit the plus sign here, and then we are going to now create a new network object for that network behind the firewall branch. So click on network. So once you click network, then I'll just put in branch net. So once you hit branch net, put in the network there, which is 10.20.20.0, and also put the subnet max, which is 255.255.255.0. So once we do that, we then hit on OK as usual, and then we need to, it's going to appear here. Make sure that there are no mistakes. Hit OK as well, and here we're just going to also hit OK. So now we have it all set here. For encryption traffic, we'll leave the defaults. For encryption here, we'll make sure that these same parameters that we have here, when we are going to be setting up the branch, make sure these same parameters are same there as well. Now, since we have an externally managed security gateway, the only change we need to make here is you come to your shared secret, and then here you see firewall branch. So from here, you need to be able to add the shared secret. So I'll check the box, reuse shared secret, and then you can double click here to put your shared secret. So put a shared secret and please type it correctly. So I've placed mine there, and you can hit OK. So after doing all of that, the time as well, I know of the timing. So take note of that for phase 1 and phase 2 parameters. So I'm just going to take yes here, and it's done. So once that is done, I'll just publish these changes that we have made. I'll publish the changes, and from here we are going to head over to our cluster policy package. So we'll go to the policies here. We're no longer going to be dealing with DMZ, and here I'm just going to create a new, I'll create a new rule above, and I'll call it, I'll give it a name as HQ. So let me HQ to branch dash VPN. So we'll give it a name like that, and the source here, the source is going to still be from our PC, our VPC6. If it's still there, it should be. Let me see. I think since it starts with yes, the VPC9, this is it here. It was created already, and I'm going to also include here the PC, this VPC 11 on the branch side. So we'll click on this new icon here, and then we'll create it. It's equally a host object. So I'll just click that. And here I'm just going to input, I'll just say VPC 11, and we'll put the IP address of that VPC 11, which is 10.20.20.20, and we hit OK. So once that is done, from here, the source as well, I'll just control here, and I'll pull it over to here. So the same has to be the destination as well. As we explained earlier, the main reason for this is since the firewall is stateful, if traffic is generated from the HQ side, then VPC9 is going to be the source, which is going to be valid, and the destination will be this, which is valid. But if the source is generated from the branch side, VPC11 will be the source. So if it's not here, then there's going to be a problem. That's why I put both sides here. But within your environment, if you know one party is the one that's always going to be generating this traffic at the start, then make sure that you just put one of them as needed, or maybe the different subnets as needed. So for the VPN community as well, we'll right click and we'll place the same specific VPN community, and we'll choose our S to S VPN community that we just created. And once that is done, we're going to create our S to S VPN community. Once that is done, then for the services here, we can just use any for now, or you can use any other services as you wish to. And then here we use accept. We're going to stop this when we're done at the end, so that we'll see how it works. And for the logs, we are equally going to track the logs. So when we are done with this, I'm going to install this particular, I'll publish it, and then I'm going to install these policies at the level of our cluster only, not at the level of the DMC. So I'm going to install this. I'll click here, install, and it will give us the installation policy option here. And you see here, it's just going to be installed at the level of our cluster. So once we hit install, then we'll hold on for the installation to be done. Now, the next thing is we need to move over to this our admin PC here and set up this our firewall branch here for the same VPN as well. So now we need to come here. I'll come to our admin branch and we'll open it up. Wait for it to come up. So once it comes up, our smart console is actually open here. The first thing we want to do is we want to bring in now the HQ firewall into this particular smart console. So you need to come to new as well, and then from here you go to more, the same thing we did before, and then from here we are going to then go to network objects, gateways and servers, and then we go to more, and here we'll take externally managed VPN gateways. So we'll wait for it to come up, and once it comes up, then we'll just go ahead with the setup as before. So once it comes up, then we're just going to go ahead and then we'll input the name, or just a firewall HQ. That's a firewall at the level of HQ. And once we are here, we'll put in the VIP IP, not the individual IP, because this cluster is acting as one, and this is the external facing IP, and this is the internal. So we use this external IP, which is 172.16.1.100. So we'll come here, we'll put that IP there. We'll put it 172.16.1.100. And here, make sure you check the firewall blade as well. And after doing that, make sure you check the IPSec VPN blade. Those are the minimum blades you need here. And once that is done, we'll take OK here. So once that is done, we hit on OK and wait for that. And when everything goes OK, we are then going to publish the changes that we have just made. So click on publish, and I'll hit publish here. So here, the next thing we have to do is we need to create our VPN community now. So come to VPN communities here at the bottom. Once it comes up, you can hit the star icon at the top here. We'll create now a mesh community. You can create a star or a mesh, any one you choose to, but there are some little differences between them. And here, I'll just give it as S2S. You can give it the same name, S2S VPN. And here for the gateways, I'll just hit the plus icon here. I'm going to input first of all our firewall branch. This is what is here. And then later we'll now put in our firewall HQ. So this is the VPN. These are the different VPN domains, the VPN gateways. And then for the VPN domains here, the network behind the firewall branch, I'll double click here. We'll do the same thing as we did before. And the networks need to match with what we were doing at the level of the HQ. If not, there'll be problems. So here, we'll just click new, and I'll take group, and I'll take network group. I'll just give it a name like branch group, give it branch group, and with the plus sign here. We'll click now to add the networks within this group. We'll take network here, and I'll give it a name like branch net. So I'll give that name, and the network behind the branch is 10.20.20.0, and the subnet max there is 10.255.255.255.0. So maintain that, and also we'll take here OK. So once we do that, that is OK. And we're just going to hit OK here. So we'll do the same thing for the HQ here. Hit IP address behind gateway, and we'll come to user define with the drop down arrow here, and we'll just create a new object since it has not yet been created. Or I think we're supposed to create a group. I'll just close this and create a group rather. You need to come here and take new, take network group here, and once it comes up, I'll just call it HQ group. We'll call it HQ group, and once it's set, we'll hit the plus icon here. We'll take new here and we'll put the network. Do the same thing. Take new and we'll take the network. So we're just going to create the network that's behind our HQ, which is a 10.10.10. I'll give it a name like HQ-net, and we'll give it the network IP, which is the network, which is 10.10.10.0, and equally the subnet max has to match. And with that, we hit OK for our VPN domains. So that's it set already. These parameters has to match on both sides here. So once that is done, the next thing is for tunnel encrypted traffic, we can keep the defaults. For encryption here, we need to make sure that we are keeping the same parameters as on the other side. So on the other side there, our HQ parameters were AS256, for data integrity was SHA-256, and also for the human group here was group 2. Here encryption was AES-256, and also here was SHA-256. So it was SHA-256 as well. So make sure that these parameters match. If not, we'll have a lot of problems. So having that in mind, for tunnel management, the defaults can be kept. We'll go to shared secret now. And here at shared secret, you need to check this, and the same password you placed there, you need to place it here as well. So we're going to hit Firewall HQ, you double click on it and put the same shared secret. Make sure you put the same secret and you hit on OK. It's very important. Any little misconfigurations here could cause failures. So once we do that, then we have phase 2, phase 1 and phase 2, the time has to match, which is the same. So hit on OK. So once you do that, you take yes, you confirm this. The next thing is to publish these changes, or rather before we publish, we'll just create our policy here. So right here at the top, I'll just right click and I'm going to create new role above. And here we're just going to say, I'll just say branch to HQ VPN. So it's a branch to HQ. The source here, the source can come from VPC. We'll create the object too as well. I'll click the plus sign. And once we do that, here I'll click on the new. We'll click this star icon and it will take a host. So since we are here, the source can come from here or from here. So that's why we include these two VPCs 9 and 11. So I'll just call this one VPC 9 and I'll put its IP address, which is 10.10.10.4, and read OK. Do the same thing again. I'll hit the plus sign here and I'm going to include the next host. I'll call it VPC 11 and we'll put in this IP, which is 10.20.20.20, and read OK. So I'll just copy these two and we'll paste them here as a destination as well, as we explained earlier why. So here I'll right click on the VPN and I'll go to specific VPN communities. And we are going to use our S2S VPN community. For services for now, we'll choose any. And for the action, we are going to take accept. And for dragging logs, we'll just take log here. So when that is done, that you should be ready and everything should be all set. We'll publish and then install these particular changes into our firewall. So go to admin branch here, and then once it's done, I'm just going to install it on our firewall branch. So just wait for the installation option to come and then we hit install. So once that is ready, we are going to go ahead and then test for connectivity. So here policies were installed successfully and everything here seems to be fine. So right now we'll just wait for the HQ to come up for the policies at the level of the branch to be done. Once the policies are done, once the policy installation is done, then we'll equally check up to see if connectivity goes through. And at the end, we are going to drop all traffic. At the end, the cleanup rule has to always be to drop traffic and just intended traffic has to go through. Since it's a lab environment, then we'll see how to equally make it happen as well. But for now, we'll keep it the way it is. And also, we'll set up the VPN access for the level of the Palo Alto partner here. So we'll go to our tech support here. While the policy at the branch is installing, we'll come here and we're equally going to start the process of establishing a VPN connection between the HQ and our branch. So I'm going to move here, we'll click on new. We want to bring in that particular gateway here. So once you come here, rather than the normal pattern, you come to more. And when you're here, when you get to network objects here, you need to get down to more at the bottom here, not gateways and servers. And then you take interoperable device. Remember that this is at the level of the HQ. So wait for it to come up. So this is how you bring a non-checkpoint appliance to establish that VPN gateway connection. So we'll call it an interoperable device. So we'll just wait for the launch template to come up, and then once it's up, we'll just give it a name as Palo Alto. We'll give it the name as Palo Alto Partner, and we'll put the IP address here, which is the external facing IP 192.168.10.2. Put it there, which is 192.168.10.2. So once we do that, that's all we need to do. We don't need to do much here. Just need to make sure you take that and hit on OK. So once that is done, then we'll publish the changes here, and we are going to go again to our VPN community and do the same thing. So I hit publish. So I'll just publish that for now, and we are going to come back later to that. So let's first of all try to see at our branch here, everything is set. So I'm just going to try to generate traffic from VPC 11 here to VPC 9 here at the level of HQ, and we are going to see if it's going through the tunnel or not. So at the level of VPC 11, I'm going to show IP to check if the IP is there. So the IP address is there, and we'll ping. Let me take off my stuff. So I'm just going to now try to ping. We'll ping that's 10.4, 10.10.10.4. So see if that goes through. So we are currently getting a timeout, and that's not good. And once we start getting this, it simply means parameters are not well configured. So this is 10.10.10.4. Okay, so now let's go ahead and try to see where we might be getting these errors from. So from this PC9 here, I'll generate traffic from here as well. I'm going to try to ping here. From here, I'll try to ping, I'll do the ping 10.20.20.20. So it's equally failing on this side as well. So when it starts happening like this, the next thing is we just need to check our parameters that we set. So I'll go back to our policies here. This is the HQ, and I'll just be focused on this VPN to branch here. So I'll check the source objects here to make sure the IP is 10.10.10.4, yes, and VPC 11 here is 10.20.20.20. That's correct. We'll also go to our VPN communities that we have here, and I'll just go back to our S2S mesh. I'll double click on that. And once it comes up, we'll just inspect what we placed at the level of the cluster HQ group. Here we have, let's see what we have here. At the level of DMZ, what do we have? The DMZ group. At the level of the branch, we have the branch group. So I'll just double click on this and make sure that what is inside the branch group there is okay. So here we have the HQNet, and the HQNet here has, yes, it has the right network within that. I'll close this. I'll take yes. Here as well for the branch, I'll double click on this. For the branch net, I'll just hit the drop down arrow here. We check the branch net, it has 10.20.20.0. So it has to match that. Okay. So I'm going to take cancel here as well. I'll take yes to keep the changes that we have done. The HQ group, I'll come back here as well and I'll check. Here, HQNet, I'll just check to see if HQ. We'll just check here and see HQ group, HQNet 10.10.10.0. Okay, so everything there is fine as well. So I'll cancel here and I'll take OK to keep the default here. We are going to now go to, I'll take yes. So I'm going to go to the encryption, or go to encryption to just make sure some parameters are same. We'll go to encryption to make sure phase 1, AES 256, SHA 256, AES 256, and SHA-256. Everything here is same. And for the shared secret, I know what I placed. So we're now going to go back to our admin branch and we'll just check the same parameters here from 10.10.10.4, yes. VPC 11 is 10.20.20.20, yes, and our S2S. Okay, so we'll go now to, I'll close this and then we'll go to our VPN communities. And once we are here, I'll come to S2S VPN. So here, I'll just double check what we did here. I'll go to our gateways and I'll check the networks within the branch group and the HQ group. So this is our branch group here. So branchnet is having the 10.20.20.0 and I'll check the subnet marks as well. The subnet marks is equally something always to check. I'll check HQNet. Let me double click on this. Wait for it to come up. So this is a branch net. So the subnet marks, let's see it again, branch net here, and the subnet marks is 255.255.0. That's for the branch, it's okay. For the HQ, I'll just come here and check 255.255.0, 10.10.10.0. So everything there seems to be fine. I'll just hit on cancel and I'll take yes. So for the objects, I'm going to now check the objects themselves to see if any mistakes. I'll just go to parameters. I'll go to encryption. AES 256, AES, SHA 256, AES, and SHA. That's fine. For the next thing I want to check here is the shared secret. I'll come back here to shared secret. I'll double click here and I'll change this again. I hit OK here one more time. And I hit OK here as well. I'll take yes. There's no problem with that. And I'll just come to where it says network objects. We'll just come to network objects here. I'll double click here and I'll click on gateways and servers. I'll just check in for the branch HQ. We just brought this 172.16.1.100. Okay, so we have this, everything is fine here. And I'll just publish the changes that we have here so far. And the likes of that. So now before doing the installation, we'll do one final check. We'll come back here to our firewall branch here. We'll check the main link that's used for VPN establishment to see if it's set. So come here and wait for the template to open up. Since all the parameters seems to be correct, it's always good to check true and true. So once it comes up, you want to head over to IPSec VPN. You need to head over to IPSec VPN here. And once you click on IPSec VPN, you hit the plus sign beside and you go to link selection. So when you're on link selection here, we need to make sure that the main IP, you select address from the topology. So we'll just hit this here and you hit the drop down arrow and you need to make sure you choose this one facing interface 192.168.1.1 and I'll hit OK here. And once I do that, we are then just going to install the policy, which tell us to publish and install. So we hit publish here and install. So once that is installing, we'll head over back to our tech support here as well. And here everything seems fine. I'll just come back to the shared secret tab here and I'll double click on the branch as well. Everything seems to be okay. I'll change this and we'll put the same password and we'll hit on OK. And we'll just accept that. We'll take yes. And once that is done, we'll go now to our gateways and servers here. And once we are here, we equally click on the cluster Excel. Wait for the template to come up, and once it comes up, then we'll then check the link selection as well to make sure that the right link is what's selected to establish the VPN connection. So click on the plus sign here, and once we do that, we'll check on link selection. And here we'll select address from the topology, hit the drop down arrow here, and you choose the 172.16.1.100 and we hit on OK, and we should be good to go. So once it's done, I'm just equally going to check the object that we brought here. I'll go to network objects, go to gateways and servers. So currently we have the firewall branch here. So I'll just try to check it. 192.168.1.1. Yes. Yes, everything there seems fine. And with that, I'm just equally going to install the policy as well on the cluster only. So publish first and the installation tab is going to come up. So we'll select our policy that we want to install. We'll check the cluster policy package and then we'll install it on the cluster. So we take install and we're just going to hold on. Once the installation is done, then we will proceed with the setup. So now that that policy installation is gone, we can then go back to this VPC 11 where traffic was failing and we try the ping again. And now we can see it's all going through. So sometimes forgetting some basic parameters like let's say the link selection is always going to give those problems that we had there. So to further check, you can always just come to the CLI of the firewall itself and I'll hit enter here. We'll just hit on enter, I'll log in. We'll put in our password. We'll take VPN TU. Once we do that, we enter 1 as the first option. You see it's established with the HQ. We hit enter. I'll take 2 for IPSec, and you see that the phase 2 tunnel is equally up as well. So everything looks okay and everything is fine. Also, to further confirm, you can come to your admin PC and if you check the logs here, you can see that traffic was encrypted here from VPC 11 going to VPC 9 as we can see. So it's going through the VPN feature that we set there. So everything looks fine. The next thing now is going to be to establish the VPN connection from our tech support from our HQ cluster here to a Palo Alto partner. So to make that happen, we did the first step already at the level of our tech support here, where it was for us to bring in the Palo Alto here. So if you come here, I'll go back one step and then this. If you come here where it says interoperable devices, double click. We brought in Palo Alto and we said you need to bring it in as an interoperable device. So that is the first thing you need to do. And then once you do that, the next thing then you have to do is you need to just get to your VPN communities as well. Again, so you come to security policies and then you head over to your VPN communities. You can click here, which is going to bring you here. You can use the same mesh VPN community that you created already. So just double click that, and once we do that, then here we're now going to create another gateway here. We'll click on this, and if you scroll down, you should be able to see your Palo Alto partner here. You click on Palo Alto. Now the network here is very important, so you double click it and we choose user defined. Hit a drop down arrow here, and then you will create a new group. Since it's not yet created, we'll create a group, just a network group, and we'll call it Palo group rather, and call it like Palo group. And within Palo group, we're going to have the Palo Alto network behind that firewall. So hit this star icon here, and we'll go to network. So once we do that, I'll just take Palo net, and we'll put the network behind Palo Alto, which is the 172.168.1.2. And the subnet marks, we just put it there. And once we have that done, then we can be able to hit on OK. Oh, I think here, no, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, we need to put the network, not the host. So hit OK. I think it should be .2, not even 1. 172.16.2. So I just double click on this. We need to edit that. Here should be .2. Simple errors like this can cause troubleshooting for long hours. So put .2, and that is going to be fine. I'll hit OK here. I'll hit OK. So here we hit OK as well. And you see this is our Palo Alto group, and HQ group maintains, and what is inside that group maintains. For encryption here, encryption, everything that we did here maintain. All what's here must match what we are going to be doing on the Palo Alto side of things. And here for the secret, here as well, you need to take note. Here you need to double click on your Palo Alto, and then you put in the same shared secret, or the shared secret that you use on the Palo Alto side. Let me just do that again. So once that is done, I'll hit on OK, and then I'll hit OK again. Take note of the timing. I'll just take yes. We're in a lab environment. So now here, I'll just move over to policies, and we'll create a policy for the Palo Alto side. So I can right click here, and then you can create new rule above. And then once it comes up here, I'll just double click on that, and I'll just say HQ to Palo VPN. That's for Palo Alto. HQ to Palo VPN. For the source, we'll put the source as not any. We'll come here and create the two host IP addresses, the network objects. So you create a host, and for the host here, we'll just create the first host. Since we already have the HQ host, we'll create the Palo Alto host. So it's between this test VPN, which is 172.168.2.2. So I'll just say Palo PC, and we'll give it the IP of 172.168.2.2, and that's going to be it. We hit on OK. Here also we're going to include VPC9, which is the PC behind Palo Alto. I'll scroll down to find it down somewhere here. This is VPC9, and I'll just copy them from here. We'll copy it over to here. we'll just copy it over. Yeah, we'll copy, we'll just drag and drop it there. For the VPN, we'll maintain the S2S VPN community. We'll go specific VPN communities and we'll go S2S. And for the services, we'll take any action type, we'll take accept, and log traffic base, we'll just take log. And that should be it for that. We'll install it here. So while it's installing, we can go ahead to set up Palo Alto as well. So I'll install this, we'll publish. This will be installed only on the cluster here. We'll take cluster and I'll just take install as well. So wait for it to be done, and once the installation is done, by then we should also be done setting up Palo Alto as well. So once that is coming up, we are going to head over to our Palo Alto PC here. I'll just go, this is the Win PC, and by now we should have been logged out already. So we'll just log in. And once the login is done, we'll then set it up as. So once we are logged in, then we need to move to the network tab. So we'll click on network, and currently under network here, as we already have our interfaces were already configured, as you can see there, and our zones that we created before, everything is there. Now, for easy setup here for the VPN, you need to start from the bottom. IKE Crypto is phase 1, Crypto IPSec is phase 2, IKE Gateways is for the 2 gateways, and then from here we'll move to IPSec tunnels, and then we'll then edit our virtual route. So without wasting a lot of time, we'll just start from IK Crypto. We'll click on the add sign at the bottom here. And once it comes up, this IK phase 1 must match the phase 1 that's at the level of the HQ side. So for the Diffie-Hellman group on the HQ side for phase 1, we have group 2 there. And for authentication, we have SHA-256. For encryption, on the checkpoint side, we have AES-256. Now for the timing for phase 1, it's set to seconds, I believe, or minutes, and the minutes is 1440. You can always check it up at the level of the tech. Let's go to our tech support here. I'll close this, and then I'm going to come to VPN communities. I'll go to our mesh here, so we have an idea of what's happening. So when we are here, I'll go to the encryption tab here so we can see the parameters here. So this is phase 1, AES-256 SHA-256 group 2. And then for phase 2, we have AES-256 SHA-256, and there is no group 2 set. So we need to make sure that it matches. So we'll go back to our Palo Alto side here. We'll have group 2 for phase 1, SHA-256. What about the time? To understand the time you set here as well, if you go to advanced for phase 1, you see IKE phase 1, 140, 1440, and then phase 2 is in seconds, 3600 for phase 2. So come here, and then once you're done with that, you put the timings, and I'll just click here. You put it in minutes here, give it a name, you must have a name. So I'll just put here IKE Crypto. So give the name like IKE Crypto, and we'll take OK. That's for phase 1. And we'll go to phase 2, IPSec Crypto, and here we'll do the same thing, and I'll hit the add icon at the bottom. We can give it a name as IPSec Crypto. We'll give IPSec Crypto as a name, and for encryption, as we had there, we'll put AES-256. CBC is equivalent to that, and also For authentication, we'll put here SHA-256 as well. And for the Diffie-Hellman group was not set. So you need to make sure you hit this drop down arrow and take no PFS. Make sure, don't forget this here. And for the timing for phase 2, it was in seconds. Make sure you choose seconds and maintain the same time. If not, the VPN will always keep failing. The parameters have to match on both sides. So put that and we are good to go. We hit on OK here. So once that is done, we can then move to IKE gateways. Another IKE gateway is you use the add button here. Once you click on add, I'll just give it a name like IKE gateway. I'll just put gateway, and here version 2, but we are not currently using version 2. We'll set this to IKE mode version 1 because at the level of our tech support here, if you go to where it says encryption here, you'll see that we are using IKE gate 1 for IPv4. So since we're using IPv4, we need to make sure we are using IKE version 1. So we'll go to our WinPC here. So you make sure you put IKE version 1 mode only. Now for the address type IPv4, for the interface, you choose your one facing interface here. On Palo Alto, the external facing interface is 1/2 based on our lab. So we'll choose that. And automatically, the local IP address, you hit the drop down arrow and you'll get you that IP address on that interface. With the PS IP address here, if you use the drop down arrow, you'll not get it. So to get the PS on IP address, you put 172.16.1.100. So this is the IP address .1.100 rather. So this is the IP address for our peer 172.16.1.100, which is this VIP IP here. I'll put /24. That was this one. I don't think we need to put /24 here. Just need to put the IP address itself. And once we do that, we are going to move to our shared secret here. And for our shared secret, let me use a drop down. Are there any options? No. So that's what we need to have there. I think the address is incomplete. .1.100, yes. So you can put /24. No, it should just be the PS address. We don't need to put in the subnet marks. Yes. So if you're using DNS, you can put the fully qualified domain name. It's going to be resolved by your DNS server. And also for the pre-shared key, we'll just put in the same pre-shared key we use on the other side. We'll confirm the same key again. Once we do that, then you need to move to the advanced options here. And then you make sure that the IKE crypto profile, you hit the drop down arrow here. Hit the drop down arrow and make sure you use the IKE crypto profile that you just created for phase 1. And that should be it for IKE gateways. Then you hit OK. So here we're just actually just talking about the two communicating gateways that we're establishing the VPN connection. The next thing we need to move is we need to move to the IPSec tunnel. And once we are here, we need to create it. Hit the plus icon here. And here, you'll just give it a name like IPSec tunnel. And here, interface that's going to be used, we'll put in our tunnel interface, the tunnel.1 that we created earlier. And here, the IKE gateway profile, we'll put our IKE crypto there. The IKE gateway rather, that we just created for IPSec crypto profile, we'll put our IPSec crypto profile that we created. And for proxies, that means the networks that are going to be permitted from either gateway, from behind either gateways to communicate. We'll create one here. And once we do that, I'll give it the name, any name, I'll just give the name like proxy And for local, the local network, the network behind this particular Palo Alto, which is 172.16.2.0/24. I need to make sure the other side matches as well, which is 10.10.10.0/24. So the services, any service can go through. So this same service that this same subnets that we created at the level of the HQ, they must match here as well. So if it does not match here, there's always going to be a problem. So hit on OK. And once that is done, we can then take OK here. So one final thing before you see now the tunnel is down. One final thing before we get along is we need to update our virtual router. We need to tell our virtual router that, okay, whenever the default route is going to this network that is behind here, it should send it through the tunnel, not through the default route. So we need to come to static routes here and we add another route. And we'll tell this route that I'll just say VPN. For now, it's a VPN route. And we'll just say the destination is the 10.10.10.0/24 network. Where should it send it to? The interface that it should be sent to is the tunnel 1. And also for the next hop, we don't need any next hop address. The next hop will be set to none. And that's all we need. So we'll hit on OK. So once we do that, everything now is set. So we can then hit OK here. So once we do all that, to make everything come to life, we need to then commit our changes. And then after the commit is done, we'll then test through to see if the VPN establishment is done as well. So we'll just hold on for it to be done. So once the commit is done, as it is done now, we'll just head over to our Win PC. That's our test VPN PC here. I'll just head over to the test PC here and we should log into it successfully. Let's just wait for it to come up. And it's our VPC9 also here. And we'll just try to generate traffic from VPC9 to our test VPN here to see if it goes through. So I'll go to VPC9 and I'll try to ping from here 172.16.2.2. So hit enter there and voila. So since traffic is going through, it's very obvious this is going through the tunnel. And to prove to you that this is tunnel-based interface, so I'll just do a continuous ping. To prove that this is tunnel-based traffic that is going through, we can go to the WinPC here. I'll close this, policies are done. And if we go to the IPSec tunnel here, we should see that both tunnels are up. Yes, that's now turned up and everything is green and it's fine. So with that being said, it shows that all our VPN setups are good. And at the end of the day, we'll just try to see how to establish all of that. I'll try to do a ping here as well. I'll stop. I'll go to our VPC9 here from the HQ and I'll do a ping to the network behind the network that's behind or to do a proof that everything is going through the tunnel. Rather, I'll just go to the tech support PC here. I'll close this. Everything here is fine. We'll come to our policy here. I'll just come to policies that we have here. And the cleanup rule, I'll just set the cleanup rule here to draw traffic here for the HQ. So I'm going to then install this policy. I'll just publish and install. So we should understand that any traffic that's going through should be going through just the tunnel. So I'll install this policy, and when it's done, we'll try to do ping to the HQ, the branch, and equally Palo Alto as well. So let's just wait for the policy installation to be done. So now that the cleanup rule has been installed and is set to drop, if we get over to VPC9 here and we'll do the pings as before, we expect it to move. It's going through as well. So we can ping the Palo Alto side of things. We equally try to ping the DMZ firewall as well, the DMZ net, which is the 10.2.2.10. We ping that and it's equally going through those two networks there. And we're equally going to do a ping. We'll do a ping to the firewall branch is 10.20.20.20. We hit enter there and everything is going through. So at this particular point, everything seems to be good. If we want to check at the level of our CLI here, I'll hit enter here and admin 123, and here I'll just VPN TU. We'll just check all the VPN turn status for all the three different VPN connections. So here I'll choose one. We should be able to see all three. Yes, those are all the three. Both are branch and a DMZ, equally a Palo Alto security associations. We hit enter here and I'll take two here for us to see everything, and voila, all the connections are set. So having that been done, the last thing we'll have to try to do here is I'll just open traffic flow back for all access here. I'll come here and I'll just take the default here to accept for now, and I'm going to install it. And I'm going to install or publish and install. Wait for it to be done. Once it's done, we'll then install it as well. So the last type of VPN that we're going to be doing here is the remote access VPN. We'll just try to do a basic simulation on it, and let's see how to make that work. So to make that happen, we'll just try to establish the VPN from this our branch to this our remote client here. So the whole goal is we want to make this want to try to establish a VPN within this environment. So we'll just do some basic setups here. We'll change the default route here to point to this ISP. And then also we are going to set the VPN link so that it should be this interface here. So it's going to be established between this PC here. So we'll have the VPN client here. The user is going to use that VPN client to access this, and we'll create the user locally, and we'll equally create a policy for that to happen. So with that being said, I'm just going to head over straight to the firewall branch here. I'll hit enter here. Sorry, I think we need to go to admin branch. So that's how you can make it work, guys. So we'll head over to admin branch here and we'll have everything set up here. And to make things work, the first thing is I think we need to head over or open our Chrome browser here. We need to set up the other interface we need to set up this interface here so it gets an IP through DHCP. So I'll just log into the firewall itself here. I'll log in and put in our password, and we'll log in there successfully. So once that is done, I'll take advance and we'll proceed to that. So once we are logged in, we then need to get to network interfaces here. And once we get to network interfaces, ETH2 is not set. So double click here, and we are then going to enable it, and then we'll set to obtain IPv4 address automatically. So once we set that, then we'll hit on OK here. So if you just give it some few moments, it's going to automatically get an IP here automatic. We'll just refresh. To refresh, it has gotten the IP address here. So once it gets this IP address, the next thing is we want to check the default static route here. We'll shift the default static route to 0.2. We'll shift it to 0.2, the one that is necessary. I'll just double click here. And we're just going to shift the default route I'll put an IP address. We'll just edit this default, and here I'll just put I'll shift this to 10.0.0.1. We'll shift that to that, and I'll hit OK. We'll take save, and that's going to be it for now. The default route is going to point. We're making everything point here. And also when we do that, we're now going to go back to our smart console here. And once we are here, I'll just go back to network, to gateways and servers. And before coming here, we'll just create a user, and we'll create an access role. And within that access role, we have a remote access group, and within the access group, we'll have the users. So the reason why we need an access role in Checkpoint is because we are going to need that particular functionality before things can happen. And we'll create a new subnet that's going to be for remote users that log in. So we'll just go through it first from here. We'll come here to new, and then we're going to go to more. And once we are here, we'll go to user identity, and then from here, we'll create an access role. After that, we'll create an access group, and after an access group, we'll create a user. So here, I'll just say remote access role. So within that, we can now choose in specific. You go to net users, you come here to users, and here you can then create you can add specific users here. You go to specific users and user groups, and we'll hit the plus icon here. So once it opens up here, currently we have no users created, so we just have the option to hit OK, but our access role is going to be created. That's our remote access role. We must specify. Okay, so here I'm just going to close this and take any user, but we are going to come and edit this. So I'll take OK here. And the next thing we want to do is we'll come again here to new, and then we are going to more, and then we are going to go to user/identity, and then we are going to create the user group. So wait for it to come up, and we'll give it a name like remote group. Remote, give it a name like remote group, and we'll just hit OK. So once you create the group, we'll now create the user. You can come down again to more, and then you go to user/identity, and then from here you come to user group. To user rather, we already created a user group. So just create a new user, and we'll call the user, we'll give the user a name like, let's say Dan, and we'll choose a default template here. When you do that, we take OK, and this template is going to come up. So once it comes up, we'll just give the username as Dan, and for the groups, we'll just place the user within. We'll just hit the plus icon here. We should find out our remote group that we created. This is the remote group. So I'll click the plus sign here. The user is going to be here. And equally for authentication, you need to make sure you put in the password as well. So I'm just going to use a Checkpoint password, and we'll set a new password here. And for the password, we'll just set it something like, I'll just set something basic. And equally here, we'll set something basic as well. So once that is done, we hit on OK here, and the password is set. You can add the location of the users, or probably the users, you can pull all of them through LDAP from your Active Directory server to be managed here. So this is just a simple app demo. So I'm creating the user locally for this example. So I'll just take OK here. And currently the user has been created, and the user has automatically been placed into the remote group we created. then we need to go back to our access role. So I'm going to go back here and I'll come to we're going to go back here like this, and we're just going to go back to where it says, I'll go back one step further where it says users and identities here. We should go now to access role. There's one access role here, and inside this access role, remote access role that we created, I'll double click on it. And once I double click here, we are going to now go to users, and then we'll click on specific users and user groups, and we'll hit the plus icon here, and then we'll choose this our user group, this remote group here. And inside this remote group, we have the user done with their password that we created. So now it's complete. So I'll click OK here. So that's the first step. And then also now we need to create a network object. So I'll just create a network. That's going to be for the remote clients who will be connecting to this particular site. I'll just say remote net. So I'll put in an IP here, a network of 10.255.255.2.0, or let's see, it can just be .2. The 2.0, and the subnet marks, I'll just put /24. And here, that's going to be it for the remote net. So you need all these parameters first, because now you'll be needing these objects as you progress along. So having that been done, we're just going to come to security policies, and then I'm going to create a security rule. We're going to create a policy at the top for the remote access. So right click here, and I'm going to click at the top. I'll right click, and I'll create a new rule above, and I'll just call it, I'll give the name as remote access. Here we need to now the source here now is going to be from the remote access role that we created. You cannot put a group here, so that's why we needed a remote access role. So I'll click the plus sign here, and once it comes up, we'll choose this our remote access role that we created, and within it has the remote access group, and has within that remote access group we have the remote user that will be there. And the destination here, I'll click here, and we'll put in our HQNet. So the branch network, you just need to look for the branch net. The branch net should be here. This is it. If they want to access the branch net, is fine. And for the VPN community, now we need to edit our VPN community. We'll come to VPN community here, and you can just go to the remote VPN community. It's not difficult to set up. Here, once you click on remote access here, it's easy. For the gateways, you just need to hit the plus icon here, and you just put in the firewall branch only. That's the only gateway. And as usual, if anyone is connecting, would they be connecting to all our different IP addresses? No. So we need to specify the network. So we can just choose our branch net. So you click user define, you hit the drop down arrow, and then you can just choose the branch group that has a branch net, or you can just go straight to the branch net. All of them is same. So click on OK. Now for participating user groups, you need to specify the user group that you just created here, and you hit the plus icon here. You don't want to go with all users, so you can hit the plus icon to go with this specific remote group that we created, and within that group we'll have the user Dan and his password as well. So we'll take OK here. So once that is done, we can then continue back with our file, with our policy that we're creating. And the source, the name is remote access, but the group is the remote access group role, that's the role, and the destination is the branch net that we saw there. For the VPN type, it's not going to be any, it's going to be our specific VPN communities, and we'll choose this remote access that we just created. And for the services, we'll just, for now, we'll take any service, but if need be to restrict services, you can do that there. For the action, we'll take accept, and for logs, we are going to now take log. So once that is done, the next thing that we are going to do is I'll just publish some of the changes that we have done here as of now. So once that is done, the next thing is we'll go to gateways here, and we are going to now come to double click on this our firewall branch here. Before installing the policy, we need to update the setups that are at the level of our smart console. So we'll just wait for the template to open up, and then once it opens, we will set things up the way it has to be. So once it comes up, the key thing you want to note here is since you're going to, the firewall has to start inspecting traffic based on identity awareness, we need to make sure that based on user names and passwords, we need to make sure that the identity awareness tab here is checked as well. But before coming there, we'll come down here where it says VPN, we'll go to link selection here. And if you look closely, you realize that the IP address we want to look for link, we want to use for link selection is not going to be displayed here. We currently just have two, but we'll have the third interface that is not here. So before I come here, we need to go to network management, and then from here, we are going to get network. We are going to get network with topology. I'll take yes. So it's going to get back the updated interfaces here. We have the third one, we'll accept it. And also anti-spoofing, this is the external network now. I'm just going to double click here to avoid anti-spoofing. I'll just click this and I'll modify anti-spoofing here, and I'll just disable it temporarily. Here's a good security mechanism as well. I'll uncheck anti-spoofing and I'll take OK. And I'll take OK as well. We'll do the same thing on our two other interfaces available. Here we'll modify anti-spoofing. So here I'm going to also disable this. I'll take OK here. And we'll do the same thing for this our other interface. And here we'll modify. And I'll take OK. So here I'll click on OK. And everything is just going to be fine here. Now we can go to the link selection that we have here. And for the main interface that we are going to use, I'll use this drop down arrow here. And we are going to now use the 10.0.047 for the remote access VPN. And for, you need to come down to where it says VPN client here, and you need to go down to office mode. So when you're in office mode, we're trying to set, we want these users to be connecting from home as though they are at the office. So that's what we want to do here. So offer office mode to group, we'll take yes. And which group is this? You can hit the drop down arrow here. This is our remote group, and within this remote group, we have Dan that we created. And then also we need to choose a manual net here, a network here. This network, instead of using DHCP, when they connect, we choose this our brand, this our remote net. This network, this from this network they'll be getting IP addresses. We'll see that as well. And also I'll come here where it says remote access here, and we'll just make sure that the option that says make this gateway routable is checked. Yes, allow VPN clients to route traffic through this gateway. We'll check this as well. And one final thing before we go, I'll go to general properties here. And we need to make sure we enable this particular blade that says identity awareness. Since the firewall will start inspecting the different traffic based on usernames and passwords of remote users. So identity awareness has to be checked. So once we check on identity awareness, I'll check that. And once it comes up, it will give us this little tab here for us to set up. If we had users from Active Directory, we could pull them, we could establish the connection to the Active Directory server from here, but we'll just keep the default here. We'll just wait for it to come up. So uncheck Active Directory. And once we uncheck that, so uncheck Active Directory. And once we uncheck that, we'll just hit cancel. Once we take cancel, identity awareness is still going to be checked, but here also we can click on identity awareness on the left here, and you need to make sure remote access is checked as well. That's a key thing to note. You need to make sure that remote access is checked. So wait for it to come up, and once it's done, then we will set it up. So once it comes up at the bottom here, just make sure you check remote access. So if you followed all the different procedures we just made here now, we should be on a good footing for everything to work smoothly. So you can then take OK. And once you click on OK, we are then going to publish the changes and install the policy. So once the policy is installed, from there we are going to head to our remote client and try to establish that connection to the server. So just hold on for it to be done. So once it's done, we'll just I'll just click on install where it's going to prompt us to publish. And once the publishing is done, then we'll install the policy from there. So publish. And once we are done with the publishing, then we are going to install this. So while it's installing, as we can see here from this side of the screen, so while it's installing, we'll just head over to this our remote client here. I'll double click on that, and we are going to head straight into it. And as it comes up here, we'll just go straight to it already, since it's going to obtain an IP through DHCP automatically in that same network. So once we are in, if you try to check the IP address on this device, you realize that our remote client here already got an IP through DHCP and is going to be in the same subnet as this environment. So we'll try to ping this IP address here to test for connectivity before we proceed. So do a ping. So that's 10.0.0.47. Hit enter there. And right now it's currently reachable. So with that being said, everything is fine. We'll just go ahead now to, at the bottom here, we already have the client installed, but I'll show us how to install it as well. So you can always right click here and then you take connect to. So when it comes up, you take yes here and you take next as well. So it's going to try to prepare the site. for us, so give it some time to be able to be established. And once everything is done, we'll put in the server's name. So our servers here is going to be this particular IP which we just pinged. So put it -10.2.2.47, and you can keep the defaults like that. We'll take next, and if everything goes fine, we should just connect to it on the first go. So with that, we're going to trust the certificate. We'll trust and continue, and we'll take next. And here we're going to be logging in using usernames and passwords. We'll take next, and site was successfully created, and that is good. So with that, I'll click on finish. So when we click on finish, the next thing is, after the site has been established, we'll take yes to connect to that particular site. The next thing is we want to try to log in using our username that we created. So if we use any other username here rather than the username that was established within our remote access role or within our remote group that we created, then it is going to fail. So here we'll just put in done, and then we'll put in the password that we created. And here we'll just hit on connect. So if all goes well, the connection to the site should be established and everything should go just fine. So authenticating done, and it's at its 2%. So let's see it. So we are finally connected and everything is fine. So what this means is, if we come back to our CLI here and if we do IP config here, we can clearly see that this is the new subnet. This is a new IP address from that subnet that we created that has been assigned to this remote client. And if we try to do a ping from here to that our internal PC, so from here, we try to ping this our internal PC which we specified. So do a ping to 10.20.20.20, and if all goes well, it should just go smoothly, and there we go. So everything is going fine. And to get the remote client, is equally the VPN remote client. You can get it from the checkpoint site, and you install it. The installation process isn't complex, it's just simple to go as well. So once you do that, we'll do a continuous ping, and we'll head back to admin branch here. And while we are at admin branch, we're just going to see the logs. We'll go to our security policy here and we'll confirm to see whether traffic is going through our remote access client here. So as you can see clearly, this is equally the traffic here. You can see traffic was from here. It was decrypted, and the source was from this IP address which was given, and the source user was done. We can be able to see this at the level of the logs just because identity awareness is allowed, and the destination was the internal network and the service was ICMP. So with that being said, that's how you can be able to establish your remote access VPN as long as your site-to-site VPN for your different branches. So with that being said, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking forward to what particular institute to help you grow in this knowledge as well, you can head over to www.dobetech.com and you get more info on that particular site. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.